content of this channel is for mature audiences. Parental discretion is advised. You're tuned in to the Green Gorilla channel. Please make sure to like the video, subscribe to the channel, and hit the bell notification button. And please, feel free to share the video. Thank you.
Yo, check 1 2 1 2. What's cracking, y'all? You know who I am, man. I'm Gigi. You tuned in to the Green Gorilla channel. It's the place where black men can express themselves freely, straight up with no chasers, man. Before I get things popping, man, I want to give a shout out to the haters. I know y'all be lurking out here, man. Peace out to y'all, man. And when you come in, man, make sure you hit the like button, the subscribe button, and the bell notification button so you can stay on top of what's cracking here on the Green Gorilla channel. You feel me? And like I always do, man, I want to make sure I get around to giving a shout out to all the members of the Green Gorilla channel, and then we're going to get to the proceedings this evening. You feel me? So let's start that process, shall we? Shout out to Lamar Johnson, Raiz Muajid, Lee Ways, Roderick Jackson, Michael Ross, 63rd Samurai, Ben Cannon, Kenton, Sherlin Woe, Passport OG, Brotherly Love 215, Divine Love Ridge, Ishmael Samad, and The Watcher. Big up to them, man. Big up to Barnolis, Hostile Adept, The Red Pill Revelator, Lord Hamal, Kill the Game, Dr. Thunder, BGS Ibmore, Jason Hales, Charles Finney, Interesting Thought, and Bimrock. Big up, man. Big up to Blacksword 404, Until I'm Not, Apex Prowler, Naomi Gary, J. Cleveland Green, The Toxic Masculinist, Pulpit 28, No Sleep, Broken Blade, Mr. King, and Larry R. Big up, man. Big up to Seth Son, Afro Troop TV, Show Me, Spain Man, Seven Coast Dojo, Anthony Davis, I'm Just Jules, and Honest Look, Ricky Dawson, Stefan, Julius Ferguson, and True 7360. Big up. Big up Mr. Me Too, Call for President, Gold Professor, AKs and Curtains, H-Town, Roguish the Billmonger, Adrian Thomas, Electrician 480, Binga, Cutting Up with the Jones, and Zanco 1. Big up. Big up to D. Scott, Path Guy 74, Pete Rock, Aaron Peters, Vincent Lindsay, Quiz the Poet, Black Wizard 80OS, Jazz Tech, Shadow Observer, Artisan MC, and Troy Warren. Big up. Big up Mrs. K.P. Bailey, Alan Wiley, The Face, Life of Commerce, AI Apostle, Timothy Blewett, Jeffrey Speed, Marvin Battle Jr., Adam Ignax Mouse, and Brian Peace. Big up. Big up to Black Uru, Dr. Tree 33, 77 Base X, Brian McMurray, K. Brian S., Charles Rogers, Rick Ross, Sandra Jean, Charles Gilmore, Greg, and Barry Little. Big up. Big up Mr. Valentino, Cameron 87, Dr. Rock, Mark Swift, Odd Collett, Donald Watts, Coach Hotep, and Old Soul Chief. Big up, man. Big up to Mr. Blue Collar, TD Hip Hop Media, Drew Main, Mr. Heat, Sir Anthony, MLR, Universal 178, Rasheed Barnes, Aaron Smith, DH, A-Double, Dr. Tiasan Johnson, Kalonja Collar, and WPR1. Big up, man. Big up to y'all, man. Also, on the Patreon side, I want to give a shout out to all the people who support me, man. Robert Wicks, J.E.K., Chris Flowers, Christopher Burton, Daxby, J Live, Rashawn Phillips, Keith Bass, Nick, Albert C., Dr. Ben Vincent, I'm the Light of My Father, Waffle Weave, Dornell Smith, Excalibur, Preserve Prisoner, Taz, Dragon 59, Jay Bailey, Mr. Michi, Mo Mal, and a Sangwa. Big up to all y'all, man. I can't forget them brethren, Kevin Samuels, David Carroll, and Forrest Windu. Big up, man. Thank you so much. Y'all deserve a round of applause, man. I appreciate all your support, man. Every now and then, man, I might go missing or something like that, but I appreciate the ongoing support. And if you want to support the Green Gorilla channel, man, suggest highly, man, that you consider, you know, a membership on either Patreon or on YouTube itself, man, to make sure we can keep things going and grow and glow. So here's how you do it, and I'll be back with the show, man. What's good, everybody? I'm the G with a PhD, and you're tuned in to the Green Gorilla channel, the place where black men can express themselves freely, straight up, no chaser. Today, I want to introduce you to my new membership program that consists of 5 levels where you can invest in the Green Gorilla channel on a monthly basis and receive level-specific perks. Memberships are special because they improve the quality of the content of the channel and will help me to be able to keep the channel going. Now, to participate in the Green Gorilla channel membership program, all you have to do is hit the join button, which is located right next to the subscribe button on my channel page. Now, for all of my subscribers who decide not to participate in my membership program, nothing will change. The content will keep coming the way it always has. Thanks for watching, and be careful out here, people. Bless. All right, man, we back. I'm Gigi. You tuned into the Green Gorilla channel. It's the place where black men can express themselves freely, straight up, and no chasers, man. And I want to give a shout out to the brother Barry Little, man. Appreciate you, sir. He says, you know, if more pro-black people spend as much time being pro-black as they do attacking other black folk for fun and profit, we might actually get somewhere. Hey, shout out to that brother right there, man. Appreciate that, man. Show you right, bro. Show you right. Let me just start off by saying that, you know, I consider myself to be pro-black, bro. Okay? I'm just gonna come out right out and say it. I mean, you know, because if I'm not pro-black, then what else am I? Like, what, pro-white? Some shit like that? What am I, pro-white? Come on, man. Like, I'm not a dancing daffy, man. I'm not about to start tap dancing for white people and shit in order to, you know, get close to whiteness, so I can get close to middle classness, so I can, you know, get close to the butter biscuits and all that kind of shit. I'm not into that. Okay? That's not what, you know, that's not how I perceive, you know, myself, and my modus operandi in life is not situated around, you know, trying to consistently demonstrate how close I am to whiteness as contradistinct to that of Negroes who, you know, are more tribal or primitive or some shit like that, or pathological. That's not how I move, man. Okay? It's not how I move. But having said that, though, you know, I'm just gonna tell you, man, like, when it comes to information related to Afrocentricity, bro, I've been doing this for quite a bit of time. Like, I've been reading Afrocentric literature for the greater part of, like, maybe, what, 32, 33 years. So, you know, like, when it comes to, like, books like The Destruction of Black Civilization, They Came Before Columbus, Stolen Legacy, Black Skin, White Mask, The Miseducation of the Negro, The Souls of Black Folks, The Autobiography of Malcolm X, The Wretched of the Earth, The New Jim Crow, The Autobiography of Martin Luther King Jr., Native Son, The Fire Next Time, The Eyes Were Watching God, whatever it may be, man, you know. I've been reading this shit. The African Origin of Civilization, Myth of Reality, Chig Anta Diop. Like, I've been down this road before. This ain't my first rodeo with this. It's not. But I am going to play a video. Like, all I'm trying to say is, bro, black men have issues, and I believe they should be able to express whatever it is that they have in terms of issues about everybody in the black community, without a whole bunch of other black men in the community stepping forward, acting as if they're providing a buffer zone, you know, like a parachute, so to speak, or a shield, so to speak, that prevents people from being critiqued. Fuck that bullshit. Whether you pro-black or not. whether you pro-black or not. That's just my perspective on this. So I know a lot of people are going to get along, but the thing that drew my attention to this was, a video. It was on Dennis Sperling's channel, and this guy, he was kind of like calling black men in the manosphere pussies for real. Like, just come out and say the shit, bro. Just come out and say we some bitch ass niggas then. Like, if that's how you feel, keep it 100% for real, man. Don't beat around the bush and pussyfoot and play games with the motherfucking issue, dog. If you're gonna shoot some shots, shoot the motherfuckers for real, dog. That's how I see it, man. Look, I don't have time to beat around the bush. I've been involved, man, with this Afrocentric shit for a long time, bro. I've been reading it, been, associated with people who read it, and, Negroes, part of, like, organizations and shit. I've been doing it for quite a bit of time, bro. And guess what? The niggas in it ain't perfect they goddamn selves. We act like, all these motherfuckers got the solutions. Like, it's some motherfuckers today that exist like pro-radical black motherfuckers in the 60s and 70s. Like, motherfuckers is out there marching against white folks and shit with guns and shit like that. Like Haiti, the Haitian Revolution popping off in this motherfucker. Stop the bullshit. It ain't happening right now, bro. So don't act like you on the side of revolutionary action and shit. Because if you are, where's your consequences, man? Where are the fucking consequences? Why are you not visible, man? Why are you not visible? And this is why I say, man, like, disrespectful language from anybody, it can get your motherfucking ass whipped. Whether you a black nationalist, a gang member, a motherfucker, whatever the fuck you are, if for any walk of life, anybody can get their ass whipped, bro. Especially using language that, it's like, okay, well, that's anti-masculine. You're a pussy type language, man. That's the type of language I hear here, bro. I'm just keeping it real. Shout out to T-Fitness for you, man, for hitting me up on the Cash App, bro. You know what I'm saying? And look, for real, I want unity within the black community, but I don't think that unity should come with uniformity and, like, just a kind of passive acceptance of anything that goes on there. That's bullshit to me, man. So I'm gonna play the clip, man. I'm gonna play the clip to kind of, I'm not gonna play, because it's a clip from Dennis Sperling. I'm not gonna play what Dennis said. And look, sometimes Dennis goes a little hard. I get it. But this whole thing about black men are like, especially in the black manosphere, like are hiding behind black women, that's not the case, bro. We're not hiding behind anybody. Like, hiding behind them for what? Like, what is that gaining us from hiding behind anybody? If we're making observations, talking about some dysfunction that exists there in a whole multiplicity of ways, a myriad, plethora of ways. We're having these kind of conversations. And the last thing we need, well, I can't speak for everybody else in the black manosphere. I'm just speaking for myself. The last thing I need is for some guy to act like, like he's an embodiment of masculinity and warrior spiritness and shit like this. When you ain't doing a motherfucking thing, you niggas ain't doing nothing. Stop the bullshit, man. Cut the motherfucking chicanery out, man. Stop it, man. Just cut the bullshit out. So I'm gonna play the clip, man, and then after that, I'm gonna get into my response to this way of thinking in general. It's gonna take a little time, but I'm just gonna lay it out on the line, and after that, I'm not gonna really continue to speak about it over and over and over again ad nauseum, because the shit gets tiring to me, okay? So anyway, man, let me get to what kind of irked me a little bit.
Help me understand.
Who's listening to this? I was just thinking when I was listening to the video, what black men are listening to this? And the dangerous thing about the term black is it's not specific. So when you say black man, it includes everybody. There's no specific, right? It's tall, short, it's light, dark, doesn't matter your economic background, doesn't matter what kind of parents you have. The moment the term black gets thrown out there, it includes everybody. And I think that's a mistake. There has to be, we gotta be able to peel back the layers and talk.
Now see, right there, everybody black ain't black, right? That's what he's saying. Now, everybody ain't down with the struggle. Some niggas need to be left behind, is what the guy's saying. Keep it above. Everybody ain't part of the motherfucking resistance, the movement, which I don't think actually exists, to be perfectly honest today, because I think that what everybody has done is accommodated themselves to neo-fucking liberalism. It is what it is. Now, give me some evidence that we've done anything to the contrary. We've accommodated ourselves to token shit and identity politics surrounded around or centered around token shit, representation shit, everything but some for real grassroots pro-black shit, if you ask me. If you want to start talking about pro-black shit. Now I said it before, and I'll say it again, I am pro-black. I am pro-black. I've been studying this shit just like many of y'all study it. I've been studying it for a long time. But come on, fam. Come on, man. And I'm going to explain to you the reason why I think like some of the shit that's taking place in the manosphere is necessary, even though it's uncomfortable for some motherfuckers. I know it's uncomfortable to this guy. But let me proceed, man. Let me get to the rest of this, man.
In specifics, because I don't resonate with the dudes that listen to this, right? I don't resonate with any men talking from a position of weakness.
Okay, so position of weakness, right? You don't resonate with men talking from a position of vulnerability. That's what it is. So in essence, really, you can't really be speaking about black folks in general or talking about anything related to blackness or black folks, because ultimately it's all talking about how we're fucking vulnerable and being subjected to injustice, bro. I don't give a fuck, but tell me which Afrocentric literature you've been fucking reading. If you look at the destruction of black civilization, it's talking about black civilization being destroyed from external sources, bro. Now, it's one thing to say, okay, well, we should allow for and permit for, just roll over and accept or capitulate, bow down to power. That's not what we're even talking about here. Even if you look at stolen legacy, it's about a legacy that's been taken. If you look at black skin, white mask, it's talking about colonialism. If you look at miseducation of the Negro, it's talking about the various ways in which black people have internalized their inferiority. If you look at the wretched of the earth, you get more of the same. You look at New Jim Crow, it talks about mass incarceration. Again and again and again, the same themes are going to recur. Over and over again. Whether you're talking about the Afrocentrics, or you're talking about like more traditional black nationalists like Marcus Garvey or, Martin Delaney. The whole thing is there is the case that black people have been so-called quote-unquote black people, right, have been subjected to slavery and colonialism. It is what it is. You can't fucking escape it. So it's not speaking from a position of weakness. It's speaking from a position of what the fuck is actually occurring. It ain't saying, okay, well, we need to lie down. It's not what's being said at all. It's assessing, evaluating, and trying to figure out how to overcome and what are the impediments to overcoming the shit. Is what it is. But let me continue, man. Hold on. He says, I don't know how to pronounce that, but being unified, being a pro-black culture can only work when everyone, men and women, are playing by the same rules. And I agree with that. Like Hindus and all other cultures on earth, not in the USA for some unclear reason. Well, you know, white people like to fracture, divide, and compartmentalize and balkanize. They're experts at that shit. They're experts at it. But I'm gonna get to this later. This is preliminary remarks. This is what kind of led me to this whole conversation to begin with.
No man's story around the world, from what I have read and studied, nobody talks like this, right? Nobody talks about their history from a perspective as if you are being bullied or mishandled or double-crossed by the women that you're tethered to.
Now I'm gonna explain why this is patently false. This motherfucker obviously ain't read shit. He obviously has not had like a good long reading of anything related to Afrocentric literature, to be quite honest. I'm just keeping it a buck, okay? That's my opinion about this shit. What's up, Dennis Spurley, man? Hey, look, bro. I didn't play your part because I didn't want to get into it. You know what I'm saying? And used a whole bunch of shit. But to me, I'm tired of this shit, bro. But shout out to Dennis Spurley, man. So anyway, let me proceed with this, man. Let me proceed with this.
This is only a Black American narrative. So I think it's important that
That's also false. The idea that this kind of narrative that we're talking about, the shit we're talking about now, is only happening in the United States is also untrue. It's false. Okay? Either he doesn't know, he's ignorant, or, you know, what he does know, he's concealing. So, at the end of the day, let me proceed.
Be aligned in the saying of, oh, okay, yeah, that's them niggas over there. Because who's listening to this, right? Look, man. I have Destruction of Black Civilization by Chancellor Williams. I mean, everything he said consisted of war with men, right? Whatever the woman does when it comes to warfare with men is oftentimes survival, right?
And this is the point I have with black nationalists, man, in general. A lot of them. I can't say all of them, because most of them, you know, let's just be factual about this shit, dude. Like, black nationalist men are men at the end of the fucking day. I know a whole bunch of black nationalist motherfuckers in real life. Some of them is dope fiends. Some of them is former criminals and shit. Some of them got 5, 6 baby mamas and shit. No disrespect, but let's get to the truth of the shit, bro. Let's get to the truth of it, man.
They have to survive. So they will do whatever they need to do to survive, and they will work whatever they have at their disposal to work with to survive. The thing that they always leave out is the man. If the black woman has to do something because of survival, that tells you the condition of the men in her group.
Now look, at the end of the day, all this shit is doing is saying, okay, look, women can't help but be coons if it's the case that men ain't won the war. Or like men are in a, position of compromised power. That it's okay for them to be on some coon shit. Because you didn't win the war, or you were subjected to slavery or some shit like that. Now you got to think to yourself, if this is like the way that we're going to operate, how the fuck do you ever move outside of the context of being in any compromised position? It's only the men that do the heavy lifting? And you got to think, man, every movement in the United States or elsewhere where there's war, conflict, it's not just men doing this shit. It's men and women working collectively in order to resist, bro. Stop making excuses for coon shit if it's the fact or the case that the coon is a woman. And I will demonstrate beyond a shadow of a doubt that this is bullshit language. Like, show me the passages where Chancellor Williams is saying women are exempt from resistance against domination and oppression as it pertains to global geopolitical politics. Where? Where? Show me the Afrocentric literature over and over again where you see passages where it's acceptable for women to just go ahead and fucking lie down and do whatever the fucking case may be, whatever they desire. No struggle, resistance, just because they're on the account of their women. Which literature is this in, man? And I done read a lot of Afrocentric literature, bro. A lot of it. And this is some shit I've never seen in it. Now, I've heard, Malcolm X talk about how the black woman is the most oppressed and all this kind of shit. I've read the Combahee River Collective and, assessed it and some of the things it has had to say about the positionality of black women and so on and so forth. But come on, man, let's cut the fucking bullshit out, bro. If a community is going to get out of subjection, oppression, domination, they have to do it collectively. It ain't just you got dudes doing it. It's gonna take the whole fucking community to do it. But let me continue on with this shit, man. Because it ain't much more of it.
Because if they didn't have to do that for survival, then we would be talking about a different story that would include the men. Now, when the men are handicapped, crippled, or the men are being killed off, or the men have lost, the woman will step up and do whatever she needs to do for survival purposes. They have the children. You cannot tell these kind of stories without first talking about the man, because how did the woman get in a survival state in the first place? But there is a need to protect the black male image. There is a need to have revisionist history. There is a need to use the black woman to protect the black man's image. Put it all on her. But what you don't understand is when you are using the black woman to shield your image, you become the laughing stock at the table of men.
Okay, so look, it is what it is. So I saw that shit. I was like, hold on, wait a minute, bro. To me, what this dude did was he just called us a bunch of bitches. Let's keep it a buck, man. You said we hide behind women. Now, here's the strange thing, right? Dudes in the manosphere will go off on niggas they consider to be thugs. They'll critique them. And let's just be honest, man. Like, no disrespect, man, to many of the black, because I'm pro-black myself. But think about this. I want you to think about it, man. Who represents a greater danger, man? Pookie and Ray Ray or some nigga that's quoting Chancellor Williams, dog? Let's just keep it a buck, dog. Nobody is scared of you pro-black motherfuckers, dog. I'm just keeping it a buck. Nobody is scared of you niggas, man. You don't inspire fear, bro. I'm not trying to be disrespectful or none of that shit. But you don't inspire fear, bro. You don't, man. I just want to make that shit clear, man. You motherfuckers ain't scaring nobody, man. And all that pussy talk, man, it'll end up getting your motherfucking Kufi smacked off, dog. Because basically you calling us bitches is what you doing. So, let me just get into what it is I got to say about this shit, man. Look, I want to get into the topic, right? Because to me, it's critically important. And it should be important within the pro-black community. And it's often unspoken or misinterpreted, as far as I'm concerned. And ultimately, the question is this. How can we navigate the critique of pro-black men who staunchly, unwaveringly defend black women from accusations of coonery and misandry, bro? As if it doesn't exist. Or it only exists because the men aren't doing their job. Now, the misandry angle might be peculiar to some people. Like, why approach the discussion from this angle? Well, as we unravel the thread, we'll find that it's deeply connected to issues of double standards, accountability, and the vital role of open dialogue within the black community. And to deepen our understanding about the issue, I'm going to make reference to a black woman, a black thinker who's Afrocentric. Her name is Marimba Ani. She wrote a book called Yurugu. She's an anthropologist known for her work on cultural continuity in African societies. And she has a concept. The concept is called oppositional complementarity. And it will be central to our discussion today. Now, in her view, men and women are not adversaries, jockeying for power or validation, but they are integral parts of a whole. Each brings unique strengths and perspectives that, when they are in balance, lead to a fuller understanding of the human experience. And the model encourages us not to see opposition, but apposition, not conflict, but complementarity. So it's a concept that pushes us to look beyond binary gender wars towards a more harmonious community. But finding harmony doesn't mean avoiding critique, bro. Finding harmony doesn't mean avoiding critique. Because, as you will see, when it's thoughtful and when it's actually meant to help us grow, critique is an essential part of how we actually get towards oppositional complementarity. So really, I'm not trying to tear the community apart or anything like that. But what I'm actually trying to do is to heal it. And to highlight the challenges that we're going to face if we're going to actually have unity, equality, and justice in all of this. Because we got to grapple with the internal biases and the double standards within the community. If that shit is not done, we're getting nowhere, bro. We're not getting anywhere. So look, let me begin by saying this. We find ourselves grappling with something that's delicate to some guys, okay? The defense of black women from accusations of not doing what they're supposed to be doing, and the need for accountability within the pro-black community itself. So there are a group of guys who want to shield black women from every form of harm, and the need for accountability within the context of the black community. Now, this isn't a simple either or situation. It's nuanced and it needs careful consideration. You got to be careful about this. This is an intricate type of thing, okay? You got the defense of black women, particularly by pro-black men, and it's a response to a long history of societal bias and discrimination. And we understand that women have like unique experiences that require, to some degree, some defense. But it's also crucial to understand that defense shouldn't equate to immunity from fucking critique, bro. So, again, invoking Marimba Ani and her concept of apositional complementarity, it can help us navigate this balance, this intricate little balance here. Because in a truly oppositional complementarity society, each member, regardless of their gender, can be held accountable for their actions and even for their beliefs. So accountability in this sense is not an attack, but an essential aspect of collective growth. But what happens when the balance is disrupted? When the defense of black women veers into the realm of shielding them from all criticism, even when it's constructive, the result is actually a double standard that not only undermines accountability, but also it often hampers the principle of apositional complementarity, because it creates an environment where some voices are silenced, some issues are ignored, and open dialogue is stifled. Fostering accountability and open dialogue doesn't mean endorsing misandry. It means acknowledging that everybody, regardless of their gender, can hold biases and prejudices. It's about having a space, fostering a space where these biases can be openly discussed, critiqued, and ultimately addressed. But we can't do that, not if you got a whole bunch of black, white knights who prevent it from fucking happening. Now, first and foremost, I want to say this. Look, not first, but as I'm moving forward, I now want to talk about a complex issue that sparked fierce debates within the so-called pro-black community. And it's about cooning. You know what it is. Everybody knows what cooning is, bro. Cooning behavior and its implications. And we already know what cooning is. It's a pejorative term that's used to describe a person of African descent who is perceived as betraying their own race by aligning with oppressive forces or adopting stereotypical behavior. We know what the fuck it is. We know what it is. Now, this behavior is problematic. Undoubtedly, it's problematic. Cooning is problematic. But the way it's addressed within the black community reveals a double standard. And you just saw it on display by this guy. Now, black men who are accused of cooning are frequently subjected to severe criticism. On the other hand, when similar behavior is exhibited by black women, the response is, oh, well, we gotta be careful and we gotta kind of, give an explanation for why it is. Or it's absent, which is some fucking bullshit. In an apositional complementary society, as envisioned by somebody like Marimba Ani, the response to such behavior would be equally critical, regardless of the individual's gender. It doesn't fucking matter. And it's not about promoting or condoning cooning behavior, but actually ensuring that accountability and critique are not selectively applied just based on gender. And this selective criticism of cooning behavior creates an uneven playing field, man, in the pro-black community. Because it not only undermines the principle of apositional complementarity, but it also further entrenches gender disparities. I thought you niggas was trying to get rid of those. It perpetuates a cycle where black women are less likely to be held accountable for their actions. And this inhibits the community's overall growth and progress, bro. Now, in a quest for racial equality and unity, it is essential to consistently challenge actions and behaviors that undermines the community's interest. So addressing cooning behavior in a gender-neutral manner is not only fair, but also aligns with the principles of apositional complementarity. Because we have to strive for a community where each individual is held accountable for their actions, not shielded or overly criticized based on their fucking gender. So anyway, man, let me get rid of the dancing daffy. If you can't, look, I see one person said, I understand about 50% of these words. Get yourself a thesaurus, goddammit. You're supposed to be uplifting and enlightening your mind. Get a goddamn thesaurus. Get a dictionary. Get your mind right. You heard? You did? Shit. And this leads to the next subject, infantilizing black women, bro. So, like, we understand what cooning behavior is and the double standards that come with it. Now I want to turn my attention to another significant issue within the pro-black community, which is the infantilization of women. And this is the practice of treating black women as if they are incapable of making sound decisions or taking responsibility for their actions, which is some bullshit. And to me, what it is, to be quite honest, it's an offshoot of so-called, quote-unquote, benevolent sexism. And it's seemingly protective, but what it actually does is it undermines women's agency and fucking independence is what it does. If you want to strive for equality and justice, the practice of infantilizing women is counterproductive. And it stands contradictory to the principle of apositional complementarity, where men and women, while fulfilling different roles, are seen as complementary to each other, not one being superior or inferior. But the infantilization of black women does not protect or uplift them. But what it actually does is it denies them the opportunity to grow and to learn from their actions. And it also absolves them from responsibility for their actions and inhibits their full participation in the struggle for equality is what the fuck it does. And look, the issue is really concerning when it comes to the context of misandry. Because you got a lot of women out here who are, you know, like expressing misandric ideas. And they're often shielded from critique under the guise of protection. But this shielding, in my view, is a form of infantilization that prevents them from being held accountable for their ideas, bro. And addressing this issue is going to require a shift in how the pro-black community perceives and treats black women. They should be seen as equal contributors to the community, capable of being held accountable for their actions and ideas. Encouraging open dialogue and critique, as envisioned in an oppositional complementarity framework, will go a long way in promoting gender equality. And ensuring the collective growth of the community. Now, if you really want to look at it, I got some documents here. Let me see if I can go to this window right quick. Okay, this here is the Combahee River Collective Statement. Let me actually go to the find button here again. It's a black feminist document. Pedestal. Now, this is the black feminist Bible, if you ask me. And here they say, Section 2, Paragraph 3, about how they ought to be treated by black men. We reject pedestals. They reject pedestals. They reject queenhood. And they reject walking 10 places behind. They just want to be recognized as human. Levelly human is enough. Now, I got issues with this document in and of itself, and you'll see, because ultimately, and let me go to another document so we can get, if you want to talk about black nationalism and pro-black shit, let's go to the source. Like, before I do that though, I just want to point out that, hold on, that's not what the fuck I meant to go. Pedestals, nationalists. Here in the Combahee River Collective, which is, one can argue, the black feminist Bible, they quote from a black nationalist pamphlet from the early 70s that they basically say is sexist. They say, we understand, and this they're quoting from the pamphlet, and it says, we understand that it is and has been traditional that the man is the head of the house. He's the leader of the house nation because his knowledge of the world is broader, his awareness is greater, his understanding is fuller, and his application of this information is wiser. After all, it is only reasonable that men be the head of the house. And look, when you see a ... you understand that there's some shit missing from it. They skipped over a series of passages. We'll see why they skipped over it a little bit later. But anyway, after all, it's only reasonable that the man be the head of the house because he's able to defend and protect the development of his home. Women cannot do the same things of men. They are made by nature to function differently. Equality of men and women is something that cannot happen Even in the abstract world, men are not equal to other men. That is, ability, experience, or even understanding. The value of men and women can be seen as the value of gold and silver. They are not equal, but both have great value. We must realize that men and women are a complement to each other. There you go. You see the complementariness to each other, because there is no house family without a man and his wife. Both are essential to the development of any life. Now, this is quoted in the Combahee River Collective to reject it. They rejected this. And they left certain parts of it out. They rejected this. They were like, because they're scoffing at it. But if you go to the original document, which is what I'm going to do, let me stop the screen. I'm going to share it again. Here's the Nationalist document that they took it from. And see what they left out in comparison to each other. We understand that it has traditionally been the man that is the head of the house. He is the leader of the house nation because his knowledge of the world is broader, his awareness is greater, his understanding is fuller, and his application of this information is wiser. The accepting of the black man's leadership has involved the understanding of the African personality, which has no superior or inferior, only complementarity. Here you got it. This is a document that's promoting, from the Afrocentric perspective, complementary oppositionality, which the feminists rejected. They said, fuck that shit. The accepting of the black man's leadership has involved the understanding of the African personality, which has no superior or inferior, only complementarity. The man has any right that does not destroy the collective needs of his family. After all, it's only reasonable that the man be the head of the house because he's able to defend and protect the development of his home. And this is something that everybody else also misses in the context of black unity and all this shit. Look, in understanding the levels of unity, you yourself have to be unified first. You cannot conquer the world if you have not conquered yourself. In getting yourself together physically, mentally, and spiritually, the other aspect of yourself has to be unified, which is your house. There is no house without a man and his wife. They're the basis of the nation. They are the basis of a fucking nation. So if you're talking about black nationalism, how the fuck can you leave the family out? And talking about issues about unity related to the family, we supposed to just sidestep this shit, push it to the periphery, ignore it and go out and fucking fight a war? It makes no goddamn sense. So whereas the Combahee River Collective, it took pieces that they thought to be damning in this document and said, okay, well, fuck that. We can't roll with this. This is sexist. But the document is like, okay, well, there is no superior or inferior. There's only complementarity. The roles of men and women have to be complementary. The roles are important in that they in turn define responsibilities to the home, community, and to the nation. In defining the man's role as the leader, his responsibilities to his house are also defined as being necessary to provide emotional, physical, and economic security. Now, one of the things that we talk about in the black manosphere is the fact that you got external forces that have fucking exploded family life in the legal world, in the social world, and in the fucking political world. But we can't have a conversation about this because what? We supposed to pick up some guns and go start killing motherfuckers without even having our homes unified? You niggas sound stupid, man. Again, let me put it this way, man. Because I see this Jay Lethal guy going back and forth with y'all in the chat. I am fucking pro-black, bro. But I'm not a pro-black that's going to infantilize women or fucking sidestep the issue and talk about some mythic we supposed to fucking conquer the world and shit without having teammates that's also on fucking board. And then you got niggas calling us pussies, but these niggas ain't gonna bust a goddamn grape in a fucking wine factory. That's what we talking about. It ain't never been a part of Afrocentrism to allow certain segments of the population, the black population, to be exempt from culpability and responsibility on the account that they fucking got vaginas. That ain't never been the case. This is some newfangled shit that you bitch ass niggas just came up with. And I'll say it, because most of you niggas is some bitches, a whole bunch of you niggas is some fucking crackheads and shit. If you want to get honest about it, you want me to get real about it, nigga, I know your kind, motherfucker. I done been around a whole bunch of niggas like you for a long motherfucking time. And I don't give a fuck they fighting words or not. Because one thing I ain't scared of is motherfucker wearing red, black, and green. I'm definitely not, bro. I'm keeping it a buck with you, dog. I'm just keeping it a buck with you, bro. Not even trying to be disrespectful, man. Jay Lethal, man, this is what I'm saying, bro. Any man that's disrespectful to another man can get his motherfucking head knocked in. Am I wrong? You think because you got a Kufi on your head, it's gonna make you exempt from getting smacked if you being disrespectful? Do you get it? Do you understand it? It's just really simple. If you come with that bitch talk, if you calling us bitches, I'm saying, what the fuck you gonna do about it? That's what I'm saying. I'm saying, fuck fake unity, let's get to some real unity. Or let's get to establish a hierarchy in this motherfucking end. If y'all wanna start talking about which men are really men, let's bang the shit out like some motherfucking gorillas and find out who gonna stand at the top of the motherfucking hierarchy then. That's what I'm saying. I'm saying let's bang the shit out and see who the real niggas are then. If that's the motherfucking standard then, let's start banging it the fuck out and see who should run shit. Fuck all the pussy talk, all the little side slick shit. Let's get to the matter at hand. All I'm saying is, Any man that's being disrespectful to another man, you understand what can come out of that. And I don't give a fuck if you got a Kufi on or not. That's like a motherfucker, a priest in the Wild West thinking he exempt from getting his ass shot because he out there with a motherfucking collar on. Oh, I'm a man of the cloth. So fucking what? You in violation. The fuck? I don't understand what guys don't get about this. It's because you ever seen the Westerns where you got a guy who's a priest and like, well, I'm a man. He got his Bible, you hiding behind the Bible and a fucking collar and shit. Fuck all that. But you think you can say anything and do anything. And that makes you exempt from getting your ass whipped in the Wild West. It's bullshit. And the document just basically is saying, look, one of the key steps in the process of dehumanization resulting from our present condition of slavery has been that of destroying the family. Black men and women were separated, giving conflicting roles, and the creation of various myths assured our nation of being disunified. One of the most harmful myths was created by a German named Kufi, in which he imagined and imposed the idea of the black matriarchy. The black woman's role was defined in such an intentional manner so as to emasculate our men, giving them a limited responsibility to guarantee broken black homes. Now, I done already told you I'm already pro-black, but I'm not a pro-black that's gonna sit here and infantilize women. I'm not about to do that shit. So you can play the role of a Sir Galahad. Or so you can look like, that you some sort of motherfucking Sir Lancelot. I'm not about to do that, man. So anyway, man, let me get back to what I was doing. And I already told you I'm pro-black myself. I want to see us win. But I don't want to see us win with a whole bunch of bullshit. And beat feeding and sidestepping and shucking and jiving and shit. I'm not for that, man. So all I'm saying is, we got to shift how the pro-black community perceives and treats black women, to be perfectly honest. They should be seen as equal contributors to the community, capable of being held accountable for their actions and their ideas. Bottom line. And as we move forward, let me just take a deeper dive into the thought process of two key figures of pro-black thought. And you can't tell me that these guys aren't pro-black. Frantz Fanon and David Walker. I've been over this before. Now, though their ideas are framed in different eras and contexts, it can provide us with a more comprehensive understanding of what I'm talking about today. Now, first, I'm going to turn my attention to Frantz Fanon. He's a 20th century thinker who had profound and influential discussions on colonialism and its psychological impact on black folks. He wrote a book called Black Skin, White Mask, which detailed the phenomena of black people's internalization of whiteness as a standard of virtue and beauty. We already know that's some coon shit. When you internalize psychologically the idea that whiteness is a standard of virtue and beauty, then you are behaving as a coon. think we can get that out of the way right there. I mean, like it stands to reason that this is a negative effect of white supremacy. It's a pathology. Now, Fanon examined this phenomena in the case of a black Martinican woman named Mayette Capicia. And he critiqued her because she wanted to get with a white man. That was her way of getting close to whiteness. Even despite the fact that there were social and cultural barriers that prevented that from actually occurring, but on a regular basis. Now, according to Fanon, now I'm waiting for y'all to call Frantz Fanon a bitch ass nigga. I'm waiting for y'all to do that. I want you to call Frantz Fanon a black man that's hiding behind black women by pointing out some fuckery that they might be involved in, by explaining what it is that they're involved in. I want you pro-black motherfuckers to say Frantz Fanon is a misogynist who hates black women by critiquing them. I want to see that shit. Now, according to Frantz Fanon, Mayette Capicia's desire to marry a white man was not simply based on a personal preferential preference that she had. But to him, Frantz Fanon, her wanting to marry a white man was an indicator of a desperate search for white approval. And to him, it was symptomatic of the kind of psychological damage that's caused by colonialism, which equates whiteness with virtue and with beauty. Now, rather than perceiving this as an attack on Mayette Capicia or black women, Fanon was actually aiming at a critique of the systemic forces that shaped these women's self-perception and behaviors under fucking colonial rule. And his work actually serves as a call to understand and address these impacts, aligning well with Marimba Ani's concept of oppositional complementarity. But he's not the only individual who's done this. And I'm waiting for y'all to say that David Walker is a black man hiding behind black women. I'm waiting for one of you motherfucking pro-black dudes to come out, and we use the term derisively in the manosphere because there's a type of guy in the pro-black community who will do nothing short of protecting black women, even when they know them to be fucking dead wrong. And that's the problem. You can't hold them accountable? Oh, well, the reason she's like that because you like this. So, okay, they got to make choices. You want them to be independent and all this kind of shit. That's right. They independents. Well, okay, on account of their independence, they are responsible and they have duties, correct? No, I don't know so much. So you mean they have greater and increasing amounts of rights with diminishing amounts of responsibilities and duties? No, seem like it so. Shit don't make sense to me, man. The more rights you get, the more responsibility you have. The more independence you have, the more you have to be accountable for yourself and for others who, you work in conjunction with or who kind of like rely on you not to fuck things up. So anyway, another individual besides Frantz Fanon who had the audacity to say something that wasn't so absolutely flattering about black women related to internalization of inferiority and psychopathology related to colonialism is David Walker. He's a 19th century black abolitionist who wrote an appeal to the colored citizens of the world. And he critiqued racial injustices. And in one notable passage, Walker recounts a shocking event of a group of enslaved people who, having managed to free themselves from their chains and retaliated against their oppressors. However, Walker his focus in this passage is a black woman who, instead of joining the rebellion, helps one of the oppressors escape. And David Walker is like, what fucking part of the game is this shit? And when he critiques this woman, his critique is blunt and severe. He questions her motivations. He suggests that her actions are a combination of servile deceit and gross ignorance. These are the words that he used: servile deceit, gross ignorance. He's pissed off that this woman would aid a man who had been fucking driving them around like they were fucking cattle. Now, in Walker's view, this woman's actions were detrimental to the collective interest of her race. And it's a behavior that he said needed to be confronted and corrected for the progress of the entire black community, or for black liberation. Now, his critique, although it's harsh, was not intended to demean, but to challenge behaviors that he believed undermine black people's shared struggle for freedom and justice. So by including Fanon and Walker, we can see a thread of thought where the actions of individuals, particularly black women, are not simply personal choices, but are intertwined with broader racial dynamics and struggles. And it aligns with Marimba Ani's concept of oppositional complementarity, where the actions of individuals can either support or undermine the collective well-being of the community, bruh. Now, just as you got historical thinkers like David Walker and Frantz Fanon who dared to critique black women within a social and political context, contemporary scholars continue this tradition, not intending to demean or oppress black women, but the critiques offer a necessary challenge in the intellectual landscape. You have Ishmael Reed, a noted American poet, an essayist, and a cultural critic who has scrutinized the concept of misandry within some factions of the black feminist movement. Now, Reed does not seek to undermine black women, but to interrogate harmful stereotypes that can fuel division within the black community. It's not a matter of making an enemy of black women or hiding behind them, but of dismantling damaging narratives that obstruct unity, to be fucking honest, or that misrepresent the facts. And I always show this quote, I'll show it again.
It's about a black woman who can't walk down the street in safety. I lived in Boston for 9 years. In 1979, 12 black women were murdered in a 4-month period in Boston. I lived in Roxbury. That is a black community in Boston. What did it mean to me and to every black female and black man in Boston that 12 black women were murdered precipitously during that period? That's what black feminism is about, to try to explain that.
I'll tell you what, Jet Magazine, which I read every week.
I do too.
And which is very reliable, published some Justice Department statistics that show that more black men are being killed by women than the other way around. Now, when I say that, the feminists get emotional. They say, well, that's not true. It must have been because of self-defense. But I think that men should stop killing women.
They should stop killing each other.
Women should stop killing men.
And black men should stop killing each other, too.
One should not be singled out as the repository of all evil in the world. And I think we agree on that.
So let me stop showing that because they're going to try to strike me for showing it. So that's Ishmael Reed. Like, wait a minute, hold on. Stop saying that black men are these brutes who are seeking to harm and to hurt women. Because, in fact, at the very same time that Barbara Smith was doing her work to save women from being brutalized, more black men were being killed in domestic disputes than black women. But we don't even fucking care about that. Can't have a discussion about it because to have it is what? To hide behind black women? So we can't tell the truth about what the fuck is actually going on in the community anymore. We got to infantilize them. We can't say that because it's your job. If we conquer the world, then, you know, they'll start to act right. That's not how societies work, bro. That's not how culture develops and works, man. It's not how the shit operates. So not only do you have Ishmael Reed, you also have another scholar. His name is Jim Sedanius. He's a social psychologist. And he proposes a critique of intersectionality through something that he calls the subordinate male target hypothesis or social dominance theory, okay? Now, according to the subordinate male target hypothesis, within any patriarchal system, men of the subordinate group are often going to experience more systemic violence and discrimination than women of the same group. And this argument challenges the assertion that black women are always the most oppressed, the penultimate or the universal negative subject. And it pushes for a more nuanced understanding of intersectionality. And then not only that, you got Tommy Curry, who blends both of these approaches. As a scholar specializing in critical race theory and black male studies, Curry basically critiques certain viewpoints within black feminism and invites a re-evaluation of intersectionality. He is doing study of empirical phenomena, devoid of all of the rhetoric associated with gender theory that has no basis in empirical reality. I'm pretty sure he would like to have open dialogue, but people are closed to it. But it's necessary for people to critique ideas, especially if the ideas don't cohere with the truth. And so these are just contemporary instances of critiques which kind of echo Annie's concept of oppositional complementarity, which suggests that black men and women are complementary forces, not oppositional ones. But this view, or by this view, accountability for one's ideas and actions should be equally applied, irrespective of gender. Now let's delve into some real world application of these critiques by examining something that happened just recently, right? The exchange between Ebony Williams and Iyanla Van Zant, a life coach. So this conversation between these two sparked a significant online discussion on black femininity and its interaction with black masculine energy or some shit like that. So it's masculinity and femininity within the black community. Now, Williams, of course, expressed her denial or reluctance to date a bus driver unless he owns the bus. And so what that statement did, it just triggered a wave of social media reactions, and it prompted a response from Van Zant. And she basically criticized Williams, suggesting that the masculine aggressiveness some black women exhibit can be fucking harmful. And instead, Van Zant urged black women to tap into their authentic power by embracing their femininity. Now, personally, I don't give a fuck about all of this masculinity, femininity shit. I think it's regressive if you ask me. But this is the issue I have. Today, it seems like people actually gain cool points, or people actually score virtue points if they're a man by demonstrating how feminine they can be. And if you're a woman, you get virtue points for exhibiting or demonstrating how fucking masculine you can be. And the question then is like, I mean, come on, man, like, you know that the system is crazy. The system is creating these imbalances, and it's doing everything that it can to prevent complementarity, oppositional complementariness. So, I mean, all I'm saying is this exchange between Williams and Van Zant, it is a practical illustration of the dynamics we've been discussing. It brings to light the contentious issues of gender expectations, power dynamics, and the ongoing dialogue about these topics within the black community. And it's problematic to me because at the same time you have women demanding that they be given access to jobs and positions and slots in professional schools, while like stifling and stymieing any initiatives that black men are develop. Then you can't complain when you don't have a motherfucker who owns a bus. How can you complain? So look, it's true. Critique doesn't come without consequences. It can stir up, discomfort. It can spark heated debates. It can even cause some women to have, or men to have, pain. But to me, that's not necessarily a negative outcome. Now, to me, it's a tension that arises that actually can be, something to fuse beneficial conversations. Because it can challenge our prevailing narratives and discourses and contribute to evolution of thought within the so-called black community. But when you got black thinkers who critique black women or men, it doesn't imply a necessary, a lack of solidarity or an intent to try to create harm or to hide behind anybody. But the critiques are aimed to highlight inconsistencies, to explore unspoken assumptions, and to push for more nuanced understandings of our experiences, man. It's about nurturing growth, not actually sowing the seeds of discord. Now, let's not forget, critique, when it's issued with the intent to correct, it can be a powerful catalyst for change. It can help us unlearn things that aren't true or that are harmful. We can reassess our perspectives. We can move closer to the truth. And this is especially the case in the black community, where you got internal cohesion, which, can help us evolve where we can actually make a difference. So in the spirit of Marimba Ani's oppositional complementarity, we should strive to view critique not necessarily as a form of antagonism, but as a way to keep us honest, to help us grow. It's an invitation for us to engage and to understand, to improve. It's an opportunity for us to actually be equal and to hold each other accountable. So as we continue to strive for progress within the black community, let's remember the importance of critique and dialogue. I am, like, at the end of the day, I don't know if everybody or who else is or who is not, I am pro-black. But we gotta be able to tell each other where we right or wrong at without fear. And with a bunch of guys trying to jump in and call other men pussies and shit like this. It's non-productive to me. And then if it is the case you think I'm a bitch, then my answer is gonna be, well, then do something about it then, nigga. Kufi or not. Because I really don't have a problem with smacking one off one of these niggas' heads. I don't. I'm just keeping it a buck. So I done said what I had to say about it, man. If anybody else got something to say, you got a comment you want to make, you can make it at this time. To me, pro-black is actually, okay, so let me answer your question, Jay Lethal. To me, pro-black means wanting what is best for the black community. Wanting to see us win. Having the desire, having the desiderata to see us overcome whatever obstacles exist in our way. And to try to work actively to overcome those obstacles. That's what's pro-black to me. It doesn't mean that you have to have a uniform idea, that you have to have a certain concept about gender and all of this. Doesn't mean you have to agree on every point. You gotta, adopt some doctrine. That to me is unnecessary. You just want to see us win. Now, is it the case? I already just said it ad nauseum. I think some men in the black manosphere, quite frankly, are on some coon shit. Yeah, I think it's some dancing daffies in the black manosphere. I said that shit on so many occasions. However, maybe sometimes I'm wrong about their, what they actually are striving for. But we can't shrink from having difficult conversations because, you got some guy that's trying to act like he's the embodiment of pro-black masculinity. Nigga, we all getting fucked up over here, man. Cut out the bullshit. Maybe you exist in an alternate universe where there's some sort of straight up unity I don't see. Or there's some power that we can tap into that you got, that you understand that I ain't been able to access yet. We all fucked up over here. and to be quite honest, I'm gonna keep it a buck, man. I'm more feminist than most of you motherfucking pro-black niggas. Especially this guy who was talking, you know, like early, well, the women can't help but do this, they can't help but do that, and when the men don't do this, fuck all that. I believe they should be held up to standards just like men should. If they are not meeting their obligations and demonstrating that they are have moved beyond pathology, they got to get to work too. What's up, Jay Lethal? You there?
Yo, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you, bro. What's happening?
How you doing? It's my first time really listening. I'm trying to get on my Bluetooth, but my first time calling in and really just listening to a stream. I think I've been subscribed to you for a minute, but I've never really had the time to listen to the broadcast. I appreciate what you're doing out here, brother. That was me earlier. I made a joke. I said I don't understand a lot of the words you're using, but that was really a compliment to you because you're very well spoken, very articulate, very on point.
Man, I'll be on some bullshit at times though, but thank you, man. I appreciate that.
Hey, it's called balance, man. But I wanted to say this, because the reason why I was typed in the comments that I was is I saw the title and I can't see what the title is right now because I'm on StreamYard. But the title,
I said, don't fuck around and get Kufi smacked.
And it said something about pro-blacks in there.
To you disrespectful pro-black Negroes. Now, it's one thing to be pro-black. It's another thing to be disrespectful and pro-black. He come back in, bro. So this is not just to all pro-black folks. That's bullshit. Because I consider myself to be pro-black. I'm saying, stop with the disrespectful bullshit. I'm waiting for the brother to come on back. He says, donation if you need ice for your hand after the Kufi slap. Hey, I got that from Jim Jones and them, the diplomats, man. Them motherfuckers was like, man, dude, fuck all that shit. Yeah, because Negroes in the pro-black community can be on some bullshit just like everybody else. They're human beings, bro. You can't speak from a position of godliness. You're a human being. So what's up, man? I'm glad you came back. So
can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. So I wanted to differentiate between pro-black people who are, like making an attempt to understand and to engage, as opposed to, groups of guys who act like, like they. Because a lot of black men in the pro-black community, man, they on some alpha type shit. Like, well, I'm a pro-black alpha man, and I'm a real man. And the underlying assumption of all that is, if you're a real man, then you garner respect automatically. Whereas if other guys who are less than men, that's why you get or receive the disrespect you get. And to me, that's a fallacious argument to begin with. It's bullshit. You know what I'm saying? Like, and then also, like, my whole thing is, it's one thing to say, I have some disagreements with some of the things you guys are talking about. It's another thing to say, you some flat out hoe ass niggas. That to me, that's fighting language, man. And I don't care if you got a Kufi or not.
I agree with that.
If you come in with that bullshit, then you're gonna get that Kufi knocked off your fucking head.
Right.
Like, I mean, like, it don't matter to me. You know what I'm saying? Like, if you give respect, you receive it. If you come with some bullshit, you're gonna get some bullshit. And I always say, I say that shit to men or women. If a woman comes with some disrespect, what does she expect? That she's just gonna receive like honor and adoration? Like, who the fuck does that, man?
Right. I guess. I'm sorry to interrupt.
No, you go ahead.
No, yeah, I guess I was just misunderstanding the title. That's what it was.
So again, I just want to make it clear. It's not. Some people are seeking to understand. Now, I get the black manosphere at times can appear harsh. Okay, I get it. But all I'm saying is make no mistake, bro. Let me get it clear. A lot of you guys, man, think that motherfuckers here are like, 97-pound weaklings who wouldn't hurt flies and shit. A lot of you guys think like that, man, for some reason. And I don't know why you think that. I don't know what is going over these guys' brains, man, going through their, the thought process. I don't understand it.
You can hear me, brother?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Yeah, I keep cutting off. I don't know if I cut off again. I'm gonna just let it go. But I guess what I was saying was that
Bro, all I'm trying to say is, look, and you kind of went out again. I am pro-black. Like I said before, man, I done read all the Afrocentric literature, dog. I read The Destruction of Black Civilization, Chancellor Williams. I read Black Skin, White Mask. I read The Miseducation of the Negro. I read Anthony Browder's book about ancient Kemetic culture and society. I've read, Francis Cress Welsing. I've listened to endless lectures from Neely Fuller. Like, this ain't new to me, bro. I done been, studying Theophilo Benga, Ivan Van Sertima, for a long time, bro. This ain't new to me. I know all the shit, like the signs and symbols of primordial man and, Raun Nefer and the Medu Netter and all that. Like, this shit ain't new to me, bro. This is not something I'm like just being introduced to. But at the same token, just because you own that shit don't mean that, you get to throw your weight around and then tell people what they can and what they can't say. How they can and how they can't feel. And a lot of guys try to put, especially in the black community, they try to play that role that's, to me, it's like trying to be a Southern aristocrat, but you're in the black community. I'm like, man, cut that bullshit out, bro. Stop it. Stop trying to infantilize women, man, because that's what you actually, at the end of the day, that's what you're doing. You saying they can't be critiqued because you got to protect them from being harmed. We just having conversations. It'd be different if we was out here like strong-arming motherfuckers. We having conversations. We're talking about some shit we're impacted and affected by. And there is a history of black men in the, pro-black movement who've had these conversations. This shit is not new. It's just that after the black feminist movement, really, which it dovetails the white feminist movement, now it becomes anathema to talk about this shit. Now you can't even have a conversation about it. And why can't you have a conversation? Because it doesn't fit in with the axiology of white women. It doesn't fit into their value system. So whatever doesn't fit into white women's value system and the way they do politics now, we can't talk about it or discuss it no more. And to me, that's bullshit. And now you got motherfuckers in the pro-black community that are coming with this white woman's fucking value system shit. And forcing it and ramming it down your throat as if you don't believe it or say it or echo it or confirm it, that somehow, you hate black women. It's not the case, man. All I've ever said was both black men and women had a capacity to exhibit virtue or vice. It's not a one-on-one. The black community is not going to be saved because all black women are fucking free and they got their shit together, or all because the black men just got their shit together. It takes complementarity. Both are going to have their shit together. And this is why we went over this conversation. I went over it the other day. We used to believe that we had a linked fate. Today, and this is something, Dr. Neal brought up. We don't feel like we have a linked fate anymore. There's no shortage of black women in the past who've been on some ride or die shit for the black community. Fannie Lou Hamer, Harriet Tubman, Ella Baker, Betty Shabazz, Coretta Scott King. It's a whole bunch of black women, man. Elaine Brown. Afeni Shakur. How many motherfuckers do I have to name, man? Ida B. Wells. And it was about link fate. It wasn't about, well, you know, and I understand that some women felt like they were left out or whatever the case may be. But come on, man, everybody didn't get the shine. Everybody didn't get the glory. So fuck the what? If we all get free, more free as a result, fuck the attention. Fuck all this visibility shit. Who cares about being seen? That's the problem today, man. Is too many niggas care about being fucking seen. I want to be seen. I want to be out in front. I want people to love me. Fuck all that, man. I want people to see me. I want to be out in front. Fuck all that, man. We should have morphing and dynamic processes where some people are out in front and sometimes some people subside, they're in the back. But this demand to be seen, to me, like today, it's about representation politics, which is a gross form to me of tokenism. Which was we were warned about this shit by people like Kwame Ture from the beginning. That shit wasn't progressive for real. And here now we stand with a whole bunch of motherfucker middle-class black people demanding that they be seen. And that they be acknowledged for like who they fucking and all this kind of shit. Whether they can eat pussy or take a penis and a penis up their rectums or something. Or cut their gonads off. And what pronouns to use. I ain't saying that, they don't suffer from some sort of, forms of marginalization and violence and shit. But come on, man. Like, the vast majority of us, that shit ain't even the real deal, man. Kev, you got something to say, dog?
Yeah, I just wanted to get up on here, Green Gorilla. Again, thank you.
No, hold on. Wait a minute. Let me just say this. The Black Manosphere is not about empowerment. It's about emotional support group for black men with relationships. That's not what it is at all. In my view, that's what it is to you. And it might be that to some people. It ain't that to me. It's about justice. It's about double standards. It's about accountability. It's about reconciling ourselves with a system that in many ways is doing whatever it can to browbeat on black men. Is what the fuck it's actually about. And then you expect for men to shut up and not say anything about it? Whether they crying or not. Whether they lamenting about the shit or not. To me, it's about justice-related issues. It's about justice in the family court. It's about justice as it pertains to paternity. It's about justice as it pertains to divorce. It's about justice as it pertains to domestic violence. It's about justice as it pertains to sexual assault. These are issues that ain't got shit to do with who you fucking and what your girl did to you the other day. Or that she fucking with another dude. If she want to fuck another dude, she can do that. So what? My whole thing is about justice, man. If it ain't just, it ain't right. If it's double standards in it, it ain't right. It's 7 o'clock, so it's going to start doing all this bullshit. Hold on, let me move to another background so I ain't got to deal with all this stupid shit right here, man. It's going to keep growling for the next. It's going to hear some music real quick, but then I'm going to turn it off.
All right, cool. Can you still hear me?
Yeah, hold on. I'm going to turn this music off. Just give me a second. I said I'm going to turn it off. All right, go ahead.
Yeah, while you're getting that fixed up, Green Gorilla, it's very interesting that you say that because I was actually on Roger Report's stream earlier today. And again, part of the reason why the space exists is because what happened was that over the past 6 years, a lot of the pro-black space has pretty much been overran by at least on the male side, by guys who basically just aggressively pander to women, okay, for the sake of like money and clout and social currency. So because of that, they'll say whatever they'll say to basically not seem like the quote unquote bad guy, even if it means sacrificing the integrity of their message or basically ignoring or neglecting the plight of the men. This is why Dr. T, and Dr. Ronald Neal and other academics like yourself are talking about how whenever you talk about the issues that so-called black men go through, again, the first inclination of a lot of these people in academia, and even Adolph Reed, is to basically to shame and to chastise you and to portray you like you're the bad guy for bringing up the stuff that we're talking about, even when, as people like Dr. Tommy Curry that's talked about, the people that face the most negative discrimination on a per average basis in American society are working class, so-called straight, so-called black men. So us bringing up these issues is not whining. It's actually a legitimate gripe. They just don't like the fact that we're advocating for our own self-interest. Now, again, and another thing too is, as people like Francis Cress Welsing and Richard Wright and Manning Johnson were talking about, there's a reason also why they told a lot of so-called black people to stay away from like far leftist politics, or why Malcolm X said to don't be worshiping white liberals, is because again, they see the quote unquote black struggle, or people who parrot that like far leftist rhetoric. They see those people as nothing more than useful idiots. Like they only want to use them as a tool to destabilize the message in the quote unquote community. But then once they achieve any sort of power, they basically throw them away like a used rag doll. I mean, you can even see this amongst the feminists, where the white feminists will include so-called black women in amongst their ranks in the name of quote unquote sisterhood. But then as soon as the benefits of the feminist public policies start coming down the pipeline, they'll be the first ones to step in front of it and hijack the benefits.
Let me make it real simple, okay? So because people don't understand it. So okay, you got old school black nationalist circles and shit like that, and then you got the new school black nationalist circles, or whatever the case may be, right? And not to take anything away from the agency of women, this is not what this is about. What it is about is having the capacity to critique black women when they on some bullshit. If they are, they need to be critiqued for it. The same way black men are on some bullshit, they need to get critiqued for it. Okay? The critique occurs, it happens, it's either acknowledged or not acknowledged, and we move on. It's either, but the idea that we can't go through the process of critique because, those are women and you can't, they're off limits for critique. Says who? Says the pro-black community? Or some of the guys in it who consider themselves to be like, new Garveyites? Come on, dog, you ain't moving it. You're not taking us to the promised land like that, no way.
I'm saying, Dr. Green Gorilla, listen, they don't even read the literature, which is why they keep talking about the quote unquote solutions argument and what we got to do. If they read the literature, they wouldn't be talking about quote unquote solutions. They'd be talking about how to implement the solutions. I'm telling you, most of these people don't. They literally do that stuff just to virtue signal in academia, in corporate America, and on social media. It's just never-ending virtue signaling. And the reason why they hate spaces like this is because we're basically calling them out on it. Like, yeah, you're just saying this shit just to pander to people or to kiss. You're like trying to kiss women and LGBTQ ass. You're trying to kiss white leftist ass, or you know what I mean. You're just trying to be a token.
But Kev, I'm gonna let Triple Black speak next. But look, there's a reason for that, and I'm gonna tell you why. Because initially, you got to understand. Initially, black studies programs were ushered in by black nationalist kids in the 60s and the 70s. That's how you got the programs like African American studies, Latino studies. Then, of course, the civil rights movement in large measure was hijacked by white women. We know how it happened. I always show you want me to show the slide, I'll show it again so that people can understand exactly the way in which it was hijacked. Because it at the 11th hour, sex was added to the Civil Rights Act. And it was something that was largely constructed for black folks, but then it became about women. And white people are not stupid. They knew that this would stymie, to some degree, black folks' progress as a collective. Now, I mean, of course, the idea is that, okay, well, you know, well, black women were helped by this bill as well, which to some degree they were. But then the question becomes, well, how were black men helped by this bill? Not very much at all. In fact, and I explained this in a show late, like a long time ago. I think maybe it was 2 years ago. I said what happened was you had a ramping up of the welfare state for black women and the carceral state for black men is what you had after the Civil Rights Act. Or you had a group of black people who were ushered in to upper middle class status, but they became tokens and mouthpieces for, you know, like respectability. But increasingly what you had is the financialization of the economy and the shrinking of the middle class. Now, in the context of black studies were started by these radical kids, but as these programs became institutionalized, who the fuck hires these, you know, like the professors who teach these classes, man? Who controls the university? I can guarantee you it ain't black gay people, man. But white people hire who make them comfortable. White people are in charge of diversity and inclusion initiatives, not black people, man. That should be obvious. They hire who the fuck makes them comfortable. And if pro-black radical Afrocentrics, people like, say, for example, Francis Cress Welsing or Molefe Kete Asante, who worked for quite a bit of time. I mean, they weren't like totally thrust out, but increasingly, the intersectional calculus was the calculus that was applied. Marginalized groups within marginalized communities. Additive conceptualizations of, oppression based upon like various formations of identities and how these forms of, oppression interlace and interlock. Which principally I don't have a problem with, except for what it does is it essentializes where the pathology is coming from and who's subjected to the pathology the most, without any reference to anything empirical at all. And that's problematic to me, man. Like, what the fuck are we talking about? We're talking about some shit that y'all just cooked up in a philosophy class or like in the scope of the law without having any reference to what the fuck is going on in the real world? In the real world, niggas are dying, man.
Yes. I'm saying you're correct, but I'm saying, Green Gorilla, that's the point. Yes. This is why one of the most celebrated quote unquote black scholars, Bell Hooks, her work was notoriously bereft of academic, statistical and historical citations for her assertions, especially in regards to so-called black men. Yes, that's the point. You know what I mean? But I actually got to hop off the panel, Green Gorilla. Again, always thank you for having me up. Thank you for being such a gracious host.
Peace out, bro. Hey, look, Triple Black, man, it's your turn to burn, baby.
What's up, man? What's up, man? Great conversation, man. My question, to you, man, and I wanted to see how you feel about it. Do you think there should be? You're never going to regulate these spaces. Was what I've been seeing as of lately or last couple of years, especially in the terms of the concepts that's in the manosphere always become bastardized. It always becomes bastardized because you have, these pandering dudes. Like red pill used to mean what reality was. Now it's like some
dating shit.
A euphemism for hate.
What's wrong
hatred.
with these hoes or some shit?
Yeah. It's become that. And the thing about it is red pill used to be reality. What men face. There's certain red pill truths that we have to be comfortable with. But anytime we bring up those things, we're complaining, we hate women, blah, blah, blah. So it's bastardized. You know what I'm saying? So it's just marginalized. We don't give a fuck about that. The whole, have you looked up the word manosphere on in Wikipedia? The definition of manosphere is pretty much misogynist, female hate. If you see the actual definition of the Wikipedia page, it's like some anti-woman shit.
Of course it is. Like, and look, at the end of the day, this is the thing that fucks me up about it, right? So again, as I said, sex was added to the Civil Rights Act, okay? And when it was, all of a sudden, out of the woodwork, you see a whole bunch of white women. Now, look, I always show this picture, and I got to continue to show it. Like, all of a sudden, these women here, who, like, I mean, they weren't talking about oppression and how, I mean, they had some, you know, concerns or whatever, but by and large, they weren't worried about how fucked up life was for themselves, man. I mean, they seem to be doing pretty fucking good to me. I'm not trying to hate on white women or no shit like that. I'm just saying, let's just keep it a buck here, man.
I mean, should there be some type of litmus test, though, just to even call yourself, I guess, in this space? Like,
no, well, you can't do it. But I mean, like, but ultimately, look, the only thing you can do is something like, okay, say, hey, this is the group of people I affiliated with, and that's it. But like, you can't stop somebody from labeling you externally anyway. But they.
right.
My bad.
They want to control the narrative because they don't like the shit that you're saying. So they reduce what it is that you're saying to misogyny. So I'm saying, fuck it. If that's what you want to say, that's what I am then. Fuck it. You say I'm toxic, bitch, I'm like I'm toxic. I said I was toxic a long time ago. I said that shit. I had a whole stream 2 years ago saying I'm toxic.
Yeah. Hey, I was having a conversation with my boy. Shout out to Pastor. He's a content creator. He said something that still stuck with me. He was like, man, you know what? Some of these dudes are doing to the men what feminists dream to do. Like, feminists wanted to castrate men, you know what I'm saying? Get them, have them have a vasectomy, stop having sex with women and all this type of stuff, and just shut the fuck up. We got a whole legion of men trying to get dudes to shut up and just go with the program.
Man, they been trying to do that shit with me since I was like 8 years old. Like, that shit is
there's men on board doing this shit.
And there's repeated behavior in the youth. I'm telling you, as a kid, I'm probably the youngest person on the farm. I'm 30. So when I was in 1999 and shit, stuff like that, all the way up to now. Even like for me, I was also like, I guess, literate, for lack of better terms, not participating in school and stuff like that. And I can kind of see what you're saying with wanting basically black boys or black men to shut up in my childhood. And I'm not trying to veer off from from the main topic I had, but I wanted to ask you, like, share my experience on that.
My whole thing is, what's the point of telling guys to shut up? You know what I'm saying? Like, I mean, like Kev said, man, all this shit is virtue signaling and grandstanding and like trying to, show that you're on the right side of the issues. Or, you're trying to score cool points and shit. I know what it feels like.
And my experience in my environment, for the people that I was surrounded around in my my upbringing, stuff like that, most of them dudes were suckers, at least for me. So I'm like, man.
The thing about it is, women don't really respect righteousness at all.
They don't.
And guys be trying to act really righteous, acting like they're going to gain the respect of a woman. That's the craziest thing I've ever seen. Like, they don't respect righteousness. The only thing they respect is power. That's it. I mean, trying to like get them to be moral or having some type of moral thing is not respectful for them. Unless you have some power, you can exert some power. That's the only thing that they're going to respect.
Let me ask you a question. Do you think righteous power is also overlooked or basically downplayed, or it get that same sentiment?
No, I just think I think anything that has a power dynamic will work with them. I think any type of morality or just righteousness without any type of power or any type of consequence, they're not going to listen. It's just not. I mean, in their mind, they're already, the score is 100-0. So they're in the right.
Well, this is what I'll say. Okay, so look, I think that what we're doing is being ahistorical here, and the reason I say that is like, look, there's no strange. Let me rephrase this. There's no shortage of coons on the male and the female side, and there's no shortage of people who've actually worked historically to work for the improvement of the black collective.
Being a coon is a fucking culture.
But I'm just saying, I mean, like, I'm just saying, like, I know it sounds deprecating and insulting to say that, but like, there have been a whole bunch of Mayette Capitious.
Who?
And that's France Fanon wrote a book, okay? And in the book, it was called Black Skin, White Mask, and he talks about a woman named Mayette Capitia, okay? And in the book, he talks about the ways in which she accommodates herself to whiteness, such that, you know, she holds the opinion psychologically that whiteness can be equated with virtue and beauty. I mean, but that's part of what colonialism does to the psyche of the people who are subjected to it.
I saw that in the documentary I saw about the '60s, and like the intro of it is a black dude talking about he didn't know he was black. Somebody told him. I'm like, what the fuck?
But I mean, you know, all I'm trying to say is there's no shortage of people who have been adversely impacted by colonialism.
Oh yeah.
But there's also, I mean, of course, more people have been impacted negatively by it than there have been revolutionaries. But to say that there have been no revolutionaries, both male and female, is a lie. Because there have been males and females who've resisted it. And I mean, you know, this is not just like, I'm not going to make a universal statement and say all women behave like X.
Right.
And I'm not going to say all men behave like Y. I'm saying that there's nuance within the context of the conversation. But I'm saying what I see being done is reductionism. And I don't think that the reductionism serves any, like, it doesn't serve any purpose other than to, you know, obfuscate reality. Like, who was some ride or die black chicks? Ida B. Wells. I don't see anything problematic with Ida B. Wells. I don't see anything problematic with Afeni Shakur. I don't see shit problematic with Elaine Brown. I don't see shit problematic with Fannie Lou Hamer. I just don't see it. I didn't see too much shit problematic with Ella Baker. There have always been, like, don't get it twisted. Women have also been a part of the struggle for black resistance. But this shit we got today is some newfangled shit. It's different. It is different.
I think that they, like, people disregard the fact that we are, I think I think I learned it from you, ontologically, as I guess we're supposed to be more like, I guess, Eastern thinking. Like, if we was like back in the like tribal African, Native American shit, stuff like that, we've always been egalitarian, as far as I know. And I could be, you know what I mean, correct me if I'm wrong, but black people have always been egalitarian. Like, they didn't, you know, exalt one against the other. Unless, like, I think you also talk about like some African tribes doing that stuff like that. But at least from what I like, the culture I'm in, I grew up in, as I know it, has been more so egalitarian.
Yeah, so I'm pretty much, look, I'm more egalitarian than most guys. I'm even more egalitarian than most of these feminine. Like, to me, if you're gonna be an egalitarian, then you can't just be like paternalistically egalitarian. That's oxymoronic to me. Oh, they're equal, but like, okay, well, you gotta kind of collar them. What the fuck is that, man? This shit don't make sense to me.
I wanted to make another remark. I wanted to say something at one time we was talking about nuances and stuff. It's something I noticed about my interactions with other people in our culture and stuff like that, who's just like, you know, just going through life or whatever like that. A lot of people don't give a fuck about the details, and the details are like very important. And it's like, yo, how are you gonna overlook this and then make decisions or come to a informed opinion or anything about things? Like, a lot of people skip over like the details. They just want the plain shit, but like not looking too Like, you know.
So yeah, I get it. But I want to speak to something about just going on in the chat, like as a side conversation. So my view. Look, what come first, creation or gender?
Creation.
And why so?
Because it has to be created, and I think most embryos or whatever, they start off as genderless and they become a gender.
I would agree with that. Like, first of all, it all depends on like what you have in terms of a view of cosmology. Like, I mean, from what we know, all I can do is speak to what we know now scientifically. Some people deny that, this is an accurate assessment of how cosmology should be done. All I'm saying is, initially, there was a Big Bang. That's what we know. Like, there was a huge fucking explosion. Okay? Then you get, like, hydrogen and helium. Now, within hydrogen and helium, is there a fucking gender?
Nah,
no, there is no gender in hydrogen and helium, bro. We talking about we talking about elements that eventually give birth to, I think, 7 more elements. Hydrogen, helium, iron, and some other shit. I can't remember. I gotta reflect on it and assess it. But like the first 7 elements were, let me look it up. The first 7 elements in creation. Not 7 days, but I don't want to see all that. 7 days. Big history. Big history will tell you. Because I'm a proponent of big history.
I'm going to grab a book real quick for you.
So I mean, like, at the beginning, you get hydrogen and helium, which gives birth to stars. Which, the stars engage in explosions and give birth to other kinds of, and I'm speaking of birth metaphorically. But there is no fucking gender before you get life in its most simplistic forms. And like the first organisms are asexual. There it goes. Hydrogen, helium, lithium, beryllium, boron, carbon, nitrogen. So, I mean, it's like all of this gender shit, who's first, the initial creation is genderless. And at the end of the day, it's not about who's at the top, who's at the bottom, who's following, who's leading who, and, who's the strongest, who's the weakest. Man, we need each other. That's the whole point. But we can't even see it because right now everybody's in competition. All of this shit is turned into what market capitalism is about. The capitalist competition.
And people dying from loneliness too.
So now we talking about gender. All I'm saying is, look, the African concept of gender is opposites complementing each other. But some people, they don't like the so-called binaries. They don't like binaries. To them, binaries are such that when the binary is established, there's a superior and an inferior. There's a weak and a strong. Okay? There's a top and a bottom. And that harmony can't exist. Only like the imposition of force can exist in a relationship like that. And, one has to ask the question, is that the only way it can be? I don't necessarily think so. And to characterize the human history as, like this patriarchal gap and, like white life for women has just been drudge and toil and life for all men has just been like a fucking party or something. It's stupid. It's not even, it doesn't even approximate reality. But like I'm at the 2-hour mark, man. Like there you go, Jastek. My eye, man. It's about balance.
But when it comes to rationality, should it be expected for that certain gender to be rational by anything.
Say that again.
I mean, should we expect women from knowing what, all through your life, what you've seen, should we expect women to be rational? Should that be an expectation?
I mean, look, personally, there are some women who are fucking reasonable. There are some who are not. But I said this before. Right now, this society, this culture is giving women advantages. And they're using them.
Yeah.
I mean, if it was giving men advantages, I guess men would use them as well.
Yeah.
But they're not giving, at this moment, like, because white women said, I don't have this. I want this.
But their default is gaslight. I mean, the thing about it is that's all they do is gaslight. That's all they do is gaslight.
Let me show you what they did, bro. Like,
most important changes that have taken place in respect to the status of women since you've been in Congress?
Well, I think perhaps the most important change was the one that added sex to the bill of 1964. This bill was drafted really to help Negroes. Now, it wasn't clear. It would have meant that Negro women would have been given rights that were not available to white women. Therefore, we added sex. It is my belief that the drafters had assumed that no women would get any rights. So that I think both white and black women were helped by the bill.
Then the question becomes, okay, so we know white women have been helped by the bill.
You know what it sounds like, and I could be completely wrong. It sounds like their fear was that these women are going to have so much power over their men, and it's going to make us look bad that we can't exert any damn power over our men. So we need to equalize this shit.
No. That's not what happened. What happened was they said, first of all, you already know on a plantation, you don't have any control whatsoever if you're a slave. So, I mean, in terms of having power over their men, like, the black community has always been, to some degree or another, like an egalitarian community as a slave community because you're in the same boat. You can't exercise patriarchy on a slave plantation. You just have no power. Your will and authority is not paramount. The master's will is paramount. Now, what they did do, like, you got to think about this. The first Civil Rights Act was not in 64. The first Civil Rights Act was in 1865. You got the 13th, the 14th, and the 15th Amendments, man, all in succession. That was the first civil rights movement. And it basically opened up a whole bunch of rights and capacities and powers for black men. And guess what happened when that happened? They got rid of that shit quick fast. They created the Klan. They started burning crosses and shit on niggas' yards. I mean, this shit is not, we don't like to think about it like that, but they created the fucking Klan, bro. This is what they start doing. They start hanging motherfuckers. White women part of the Klan too. They're like, you're not better than us, nigga. I don't give a fuck about the Civil Rights Act in 1860. I don't care about it.
I just see it.
These niggas are not better than us. That's white women speaking. This uppity nigger. And a lot of black men were killed and murdered on the word of a white woman. Let's not get it twisted, man. The catalyst for us being murdered oftentimes came from the testimony of a white woman.
Mm-hmm.
So there's a racial hierarchy being established here, not a sexual hierarchy. Because let's face it, increasingly things are getting more difficult for white guys, but this is because of their own making. This is because of their own undoing, of their own so-called rights and so on, and privileges and powers or whatever. That's of their own doing. But mainly to be able to thwart and stymie black progress and development. This shit is white women saying, I don't want these niggas to be ahead of me, Johnny. You're going to give them the right to vote before us? We're your wives. We're your sisters and daughters. How dare you let these fucking apes have more power than us? Okay, dear.
That was their like that was their undoing. But no, it's I mean, you just made me think of something about I just saw something in the comments about pro-black being a patriarchy, and I was like trying to think of when has a black patriarchy ever existed in America?
Yeah, I don't think that there's ever been a black patriarchy in America. If you can point to one, it probably would be during Reconstruction.
Nah, I mean, or maybe because I mean, even through slave, I mean, the thing about it is white. I mean, black women have always had the option to go to massa and get the black men under control anytime they wanted to. You know, they can still do it to this day. You know, they just call the police. But
yeah, and that's something that I got a problem with. And the only reason I have a problem with that is black women, sicking the police on men, and even white women, is because they're also perpetrators of violence.
Mm-hmm.
And that's the only issue I have with it. They act as if the only source of violence is black men or men in general, when they know damn well that they can know that they're violent but not care about it.
No, I mean,
I'm gonna do a video about that shit sometime soon. With the feminist guy, and you got women openly saying that domestic violence is a problem because men hit women back. What the fuck? I don't get it, man. It makes to me it's it's violence when you do it, but it's not violence when I do it. Or if I do it, I have a right to do it because I'm mad. But when you do it, it's because you're trying to control me.
I guess
to me, it's some bullshit.
It's cool when they do it. It's a blackout. They don't remember.
What they try to do is they try to say, well, I'm innocent, I'm weak. When I hit you, it doesn't hurt you. You're a man. You're supposed to be able to, be able to absorb my physicality, whereas I'm not built to handle your physicality. So the argument is it's disproportional force. That's the argument that they use. And my viewpoint on it is, man, look.
I mean, the thing about it is, why do women have a problem with the issue of fairness when it comes down to fairness? When you institute fairness, then all of a sudden it becomes a problem.
That's because
fairness.
I would assume that they think that it's not fair that they can't whip your ass because they ain't as strong as you. What else can you say? The idea is that your response to their violence is going to be more harmful than their initial violence. Yeah. So don't respond to their violence.
It's like a concept equal work for equal pay, right?
Bro, let me just say this shit. I know it's gonna go over some people's heads, but I'm look, there's only two moral or ethical positions you can take on the vast majority of issues, either deontology or utilitarianism. Those are the primary ethical positions you can take on any kind of moral problem that presents itself. Either I'm going to use deontology, which is the categorical imperative. Don't know if you ever even heard of it, but you should, okay? And utilitarianism, which is the idea that you're supposed to maximize pleasure and minimize pain for the greatest amount of people possible, okay? So those are the only alternatives, really. You got virtue ethics, but nobody really operates by virtue ethics anymore.
So in other words, there's never going to be a balance for men. The scales are always going to be tilted against us, no matter what.
I won't say that, because there have been times where men are man, if you fucking got the audacity to hit me, I'm gonna slap your ass back. I'm gonna check your ass. This is Western culture that is basically accommodating white women's tears. This is what the fuck all this shit is.
There's always been one-way aggression, though. I mean, it's always been one-way aggression. There's never been the right for both aggressions. I mean, it makes me even uncomfortable even say, like, you know, equal aggression between men and women, because it just sounds bad.
A man can abuse a woman.
Right.
It can happen. I'm not saying it can't happen, but it also can be the case that a woman abuses a man. Yeah. Now the problem comes in when you assume that a woman can abuse a man and there should be no response just because she's a woman. To me, like, the only way you can't justify it on deontological grounds. Let me just say that. Because deontology is, you cannot operate by a maxim that you can't will at the same time to be a universal law governing all within a kingdom of ends. What that means is, it's the golden rule. Do unto others as you would have them do unto you. You can't ask for a principle of action that you can't universalize. So if it's the case that you hit somebody, you have to expect that other people are going to be able to hit you back. There's no exceptions to it. You can't. So on deontological grounds, it can't be justified. So the only other alternative that they can utilize is the utilitarian argument that, okay, when you hit us back, you create more pain than we created when we hit you initially. And then my retort to that is, look, at the end of the day, so you mean to tell me that I have to sacrifice my own pleasure for the sake of, like, making sure that you don't experience any pain at all? That's bullshit to me. Like, and for men to put up with it is stupid. But, you know, men are putting up with it.
I mean, but it's just, I mean, maybe it's just me, but it's hard for me to believe that, and you know what, I'm not justifying physical violence at all, but for the threshold for a man to exhort physical violence to a woman, it almost has to be provoked on some level. It's got to be provoked on some level, because I don't think that's just our natural disposition. I just don't think it's our natural disposition to bring aggression towards women. Now, women, I think it's their natural disposition to bring aggression. I mean, when they, I mean, at any given moment. But I just don't really believe that there's, like, large majority of men are just acting aggressively or trying to.
Yeah, I don't think so either. I don't think so either. I mean, I get your point. I mean, but there are some guys who, you know, like, they will fucking, like, use violence to get their way. I'm not saying that, you know, I'm just saying, look, let me just say this. I get your point. The larger point is, like, men aren't looking for cool points to just go out and bully weak people they be considered to be beneath them, because it's not challenging. Like, why would a guy go out? Because the natural disposition for a man is to try to cooperate and to derive pleasure from the woman he's around, not to engage in a whole bunch of confrontation and conflict. Okay, but yeah, I mean, do women do a lot of provocation? Yeah, but this is the thing: men consider violence directed at themselves by women provocation. That's not provocation. That's fucking violence.
I just can't see men as, I mean, you may have a small fraction of men that actually want to be violent towards women just for the case of being violent. But I think there's some type of emotional response or some type of being provoked in some type of way to exercise that. I just don't think it's just, I just don't see, because I think we have a protection mechanism in us, you know what I'm saying, to kind of protect women. You feel me?
So look, so this guy says, look, and this is why I just disagree with this. He says we should never hit our women, and we should never let whitey around them to abuse and mentally molest them. Now, like, first and foremost, you gotta ask yourself, like, bro, I seen women, man, go at niggas with knives, motherfuckers with guns. I mean, literally, I've seen this shit. You understand what I'm saying? Like, If a chick come after me, man, like, you know, if you coming at me with some shit like that, I'm gonna knock your fucking ass out. Now, I don't want to. But, I mean, if you insistent, like, you women coming at you like a fucking banshee, like, it's one thing if the chick do it once or twice or something like that, but, like, you got someone who will keep coming after your ass.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, like it's their right to just come after. You got women coming after niggas with cars, murdering them. Chicks poisoning motherfuckers.
Yeah.
Like I said, motherfuckers trying to stab Negroes. Like, you gonna let a woman just stab your ass and you gonna sit back and be like, wow, you know, I can never hurt her. Why not?
Why
Like, I'm just saying, like, bro, I'm saying, what is it about a woman as a woman that, like, there's an argument that they should never endure any kind of discomfort? To me, that's part of infantilization. That's saying that they don't have the now you got women in the military. Like, okay, say for example, you got a woman in the military and you got to train this motherfucker. Or recently, okay, so it's a woman, I saw the video about, it's a black female that boxes and shit. And she spars with men. That's who she spars with. So I'm not supposed to hit her? But they said, you better, the woman literally said, you better hit me, because I'm going to hit your ass back.
But the thing about it is sometimes they get the most pleasure out of uncomfortable situations. Like, they create chaos. Like,
sometimes they do.
They do a lot. It's like, I mean, they explain, like, it's like the dude that's treating them like garbage, like, every day, versus the dude that's treating them like gold, and they always default to the garbage before the gold. I mean, I think women like to be uncomfortable. They just don't like to say it. I think they love to be that shit, because I remember, you know, all through my life, the best relationships I had was the ones where I was a total piece of shit.
Yeah, I get it. But let's say, for example, like, I'm just saying. Let me show this shit. Present. This is the woman I'm talking about, by the way. It wasn't Clarissa Shields. It was Alicia Baumgartner. Okay, that chick there. You know what I'm saying? Like, imagine that motherfucker coming at you, trying to smack your motherfucking ass, and you like, well, she's a lady, you couldn't hurt her. Man, that chick will knock your motherfucking ass out, dog.
Yeah, she probably would give you the one-hitter quitter.
She'll knock that. She's a professional boxer, bro.
Mm-hmm.
And she bad. I mean, you know, she's a bad woman. Pretty as a motherfucker. But she will knock your fucking ass out, bro.
Well, you should treat her like a delicate flower, though.
Man, fuck that, bro. She coming at you like a motherfucking madman, bro. Bro, no.
I'm fucking with you, bro. I mean, yeah. I mean, that.
No, bro. Look, I'm sorry. I've seen women whip niggas' asses. I've seen it.
I've seen the shit, too.
I've literally seen it. I've literally seen women whip dudes' asses, man.
She can. I think she can. I
mean, you know, like, we talking about. Hey, look. At the end of the day, all these men are 7 times as strong as women. That's some bullshit. No, sir. No. I don't know what universe that shit were you in.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, they are. I mean, but the thing about it is women are able to they're able to inflict emotional pain like tenfold what a man can do when it comes to emotions.
Yeah, well, I mean,
they can inflict a lot more pain when it comes to that shit.
So look, at the end of the day, like, that's one of the things you also got to take into consideration, is that pain is not just merely physical. In fact, physical pain is something easy to overcome, one could argue. It's emotional and psychological scars that are the most difficult to overcome.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? But like, you know, women like to reduce it all to physicality, and then like they're hurt about the physicality. You know what I'm saying? But you know, like, how many women do you know get like ostracized for being violent?
No, they actually
society
get,
itself. Like, I mean, Amber Heard was arrested for domestic violence, but this bitch,
they actually get attention and praise for it. Like Bad Girls Club, like Krishan Rock, whatever that broad is right there. I mean, she has a legion of fans because she's so violent, unruly, and ratchet. Like, and she's a fighter. You know what I'm saying? Like, they celebrate the fact that she be whooping on Blueface, whatever the dude name is, Blueface. Like, they love that shit. Like Amber Heard, you don't think that there's a bunch of women that secretly love Amber Heard? You know what I'm saying? Like, oh, she like the way that she violated with Johnny Depp. They love that shit, man. They love that shit.
Let me say this. Also, look, the statement that men are 17 times stronger than women is not accurate. It's just not. Go find the study. Now, I will say this, on average, men tend to have greater physical strength than women. That's true. And largely due to differences in muscle, mass, and size, which are influenced by hormones like testosterone. But the ratio is certainly not as extreme as 17 times. Okay, now according to numerous studies, it's accepted that the average man may have up to 50% more upper body strength and around 30 times more lower body strength than the average woman. But this is a broad range, and there's overlap with it, with many women being stronger than many men.
I know, but I mean, what does it matter if you're stronger if the other person is more sinister and more unruly or more demonic? It doesn't matter. Like, we have physical strength, but there's, I mean, a lot of times, even with, you know, fighting with amongst men and stuff like that, there's certain like shit that we're not gonna do. Like, for instance, if you got in a fight with a dude, are you really gonna like kick him in the balls, or are you really gonna try to gouge his eyes out? Like, are you really gonna do that? No. But if you're in a fight with a woman, everything's on the table for her. Like guns, knives, kicking you in the balls, scratching your eyes out. Like, we could be stronger, but shit, a lot of times we're not gonna act up on that shit.
You know, at the end of the day, all I'm trying to explain is that, look, there are some women out here, there's some women who are stronger than men, man. Like even if it's the case that some, you know, like if men have 17 times more testosterone than women, okay, it could be generally correct. Mm-hmm. But testosterone levels can vary significantly, but on average, men do have significantly higher levels than women. But that, you know, it's not unusual for a man to have 10 to 20 times more testosterone than a woman.
Yeah, but I mean, let's just be honest about it. I mean, most of the time, you're not going to exert it, though. You're not going to exert it.
Dude, it doesn't matter, because even if you have more testosterone, doesn't necessarily mean that you're stronger than a motherfucker who has less. It doesn't. Like, according to numerous studies, it's just generally accepted that a man may have up to 50% more upper body strength and around 30% more lower body strength than the average woman. Okay? But there's a broad average being covered here and a significant overlap with many women being stronger than many men. It's just a fact. And also, strength can be improved upon by both men and women through physical training and exercise. And like you said before, physical strength is just one aspect of human ability. Women actually have greater endurance, flexibility, and a longer lifespan than
right.
Men.
I mean, but you also got to also take in consideration, like when we talk of strength, you know, what is the measure?
How much can you deadlift, dog? How much can you personally deadlift?
Oh man, when I was in college, I can.
No, I'm talking about now.
Now, oh shit, I don't know. I really don't even know. I mean, I played college football and stuff like that, so we used to do those Olympic lifts. So, I think 550, but now probably maybe 350. I mean, like you talking about like a real deadlift where we're actually using form and all this type of stuff.
Bruh, I'm gonna show
Probably
you some
about
shit right
300.
now. I gotta show it to you.
300,
Hold on, let me show you this shit.
something like that.
Hold on, let me show you this shit. Hold on. Let me show you some shit. Since motherfucker want to talk about who's strong, who not, who hot, who not, who shot, who not. Update to the latest version.
Squatting, or like some of them women can squat a lot of fucking weight.
Can you hold on? You can't see that. Hold on. Let me. Hold on. Hold on. Hold the phone. Hold the phone. Hold the phone. Hold the phone. Let me make myself big here. You see that?
With Tamara Walcott, your current record holder, looking to surpass that now at 641.
Come on, Tamara, get this weight. We want to see this.
Playing with house money here.
Yes, she is. And barehanded, no straps. Yes, come on now. Get this weight.
641 for a new record for Tamara Walcott.
Get this weight. Come on. Off the ground, here it comes. It's to the knees. She's got it. Keep going. Yes.
And Walcott has done it.
Wow, barehanded.
641 with no straps.
Wow. Wow.
That's crazy.
Now this motherfucker don't want to let me use the goddamn mouth. Huh?
That's fucking crazy right here.
So don't talk, man. Look, I'm saying, bruh, that's not a weak ass woman. And we have a prototype of what we think women are like. All women are not built exactly the same and have the same levels of strength, man. There's some strong ass women out here, man. It'll fuck your ass up out here, boy.
No, in my fucking prime, and I was like one of the strongest dudes. Like I was doing maybe 500, 550 possibly. I can't even remember.
I bet you she deadlifted more than that nigga with that pumping. I bet you she deadlifted more than this motherfucking dude that's talking about women are weaker than men. I bet you she lifted more than his ass. No disrespect. But there's some strong ass chicks out here, man.
That was 600 pounds? Damn.
Yeah, that's 600 pounds, bro. You know what I'm saying? I mean, but that's just, she's strong, bro. This is what it is.
A lot of women deadlift over 400. I don't even know I can lift a deadlift over 400 right now. I don't even think I can. 415. Well, it's been a long time. God damn. That's crazy.
All right, I'm about to go ahead and leave with this link for this one dude asking for it. But after this, I'm about to get up off here. I ain't going to be talking all night. Subscribe to the channel, man. Like the video. Share the video. Donate if you can, man. You know what I'm saying? Show some love if you can. But, yeah. All I'm saying is this whole idea that, like, all women are dainty and they're all vulnerable and they're all weak and, like the mere breathing on them is going to end up fucking them up, man. Bro. No, sir. Fighter complex. Go ahead.
What's going on? What's up, Triple Black? What's good?
What's happening, man?
All right. So, yes, that woman is strong, She's extremely strong. We can all say that she's a freak of nature, right? But the thing is, she's an anomaly, right? The fact that we have to show this video goes to show that she's something special. Because if it was a man, we were like, all right, big deal. It was a big, strong man. We're used to seeing that. We're not used to seeing a woman being that freakishly strong. If not, there'll be women in the NBA. They'll quit the WNBA and they'll be in the NBA. They'll be boxing. They'll do MMA. They would join sports, right? They would join the sports. Wouldn't you say that?
I don't know what I don't know what you're asking. Like,
No,
put it this
I'm
way.
not.
I'm
Okay,
saying
go
this. I've already said what I've had to say. Okay, most men are not physical specimens themselves. I can guarantee you, most men, especially in the black community, don't go to the gym.
Right. Okay.
Personally, like, how many pull-ups can you do right now?
Me, right? And I'm a boxer. So
how many can you do right now?
I could probably knock out 20, 25.
I'm 52. I can do about 15 right now. You think the average black man can just get up and do 15 to 20 pull-ups?
No, but that's the thing. The average person, the average human being doesn't dedicate their life to working out.
But there are some women who dedicate their lives to working out, or they're not.
Oh, yes. But now let me put it like this.
Some men that dedicate themselves to working out on a regular basis.
Yeah, I would say.
Are there some women who are naturally, without working out, stronger than some men who naturally don't work out?
It's a very, 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 very small percentage.
That is bullshit.
I'm telling you.
Say that. I'm telling you right now. There are men right now. There are some women who are taller than men. There are some women who are like way more than men.
That doesn't mean nothing.
Shit. Enhanced weight creates more strength, does it not?
It does, but then you have to take in conditioning. You have to take in. Men have quicker reflexes, a better eyesight. Like this is a proven fact. Men have better eyesight. They're the superior sex when it comes to physical strength.
We know on general. I've already said this. I said, look, it's generally accepted that the average man has up to 50% more upper body strength and around 30% more lower body strength than the average woman. We already established that. But that's a broad average.
Okay, so let me ask you this.
Wait a minute. I'm telling you this. You asking me a question and I'm giving you the answer, but you don't want to accept the answer.
No, because
the answer is it's generally accepted that the average man has 50% more body strength and around 30% more lower body strength than the average woman. That's what the science bears out. However, this is a broad average, and there is a significant overlap with many women being stronger than many men.
All right, so let me ask you this. Okay, do you know who Clarissa Shields is?
I know who Clarissa. She's a boxer, man, a black boxer.
Okay. Okay, so she has to be number one in her weight class. She has to be. If not number one, she's like top 3 in her weight class. So now, in the rankings of the men weight class, right? Of let's say she got to be like 160. Who can she be?
Say what now?
Who can she be out of the men that are in her weight class, but in the men's division? Let's say she can't even be top 20 dude, like the top 20. Nobody. She can't be no one in the top 20.
Bro, most men aren't going to be able to beat any of the men. Like, you take an average man on the street, they're not going to be able to beat up a trained boxer. Hold on, wait a minute. Listen to what I'm saying. Can Clarissa Shields kick a normal, regular ass nigga's ass on the street?
Okay.
9 times out of 10.
Okay.
Is she gonna be able to whip the average? If she gets into a beer brawl with a motherfucking dude that weigh 135 pounds, let's pick out a guy like just in terms of size. Like,
but you didn't look. Hold on, you didn't answer my question. Can she
because your question is irrelevant.
No,
You're
no,
talking about the best of the best athlete. Your question is irrelevant. We're talking about average people, not fucking athletes, bro.
Okay, no, but
we're not talking about athletes, man. Stop trying to make this shit about athletes. All I tried to do was to demonstrate.
I'm asking you a question. All right, but we have to. Okay, so let's speak about
women. We know women are generally weaker than men.
What percentage? Okay, what percentage of women are weaker than the average? What percentage?
Bro, we already said that on average, the average man has 50% more upper body strength than, and around 30% more lower body strength than the average woman. So that's taking all men and all women in the known fucking universe. We're talking about 80. I mean, we're talking about 8 billion people, dog. 8 to 9 billion people.
All right. Okay, you're not. Damn, you're not a good listener. All right, I'm saying, what percentage of women can beat men? You're speaking about strength by body parts. We're speaking about in general. How many? If there's 100 men and there's 100 women, how many women can beat those men in a fight? Hello? I can't hear. I don't know what happened.
Okay, yeah, my mic went off. My mic went off for a question. So here's the thing, right?
Okay.
That's a difficult question to answer because it depends on a whole bunch of variables, such as the people involved, the physical condition of the people involved, the physical training of the people involved, the type of fighting that they're doing. Is it jujitsu? Is it boxing? Like, what the fuck is it?
No. A fight to the death. You're gonna fight to the death.
We've already said, in general, men on average have a physical advantage because of the larger size and greater muscle mass and higher bone density, largely because of the effects of testosterone, like the guy talked about. However, these are averages, and there are many individual variations related to averages. A woman who is well-trained in a martial art or self-defense might be able to defeat a man who is untrained or in poor physical condition. Also, fighting isn't just about, if you say you're a boxer, right?
Nah, I am. You can go to my channel.
You do what you say you do for a living? You train how?
Boxing trainer.
Now, you know, fighting isn't just about physical strength. Or maybe it is, maybe to you it is, but I've seen many instances in which you take a muscle-bound man and you put his fucking ass in the ring and somebody significantly smaller than him ends up beating the fuck out of him, right?
Bro, I put my 1,000 hours in boxing. It's more.
Okay, so fighting isn't just about raw physical strength. It also involves skill, technique, speed, endurance, flexibility, strategy. Okay, so the whole notion that, like, all I'm telling you is, in many martial arts such as Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu or Judo, they emphasize leverage over technique. And technique over brute strength, allowing a smaller person or a physically weaker person to effectively defend themselves against larger or stronger opponents.
All right, reflex.
Also, it's important to note that most experts recommend avoiding all physical confrontations, really, for real, in general. But if it is the case, there isn't a specific statistical percentage anywhere that you're going to be able to find that says how many women are going to be able to hurt how many men.
Okay. All right.
Just know you're asking for an answer to a question that there's no way to get an answer to.
All right. Do women have better reflexes than a man?
Bro, we already fucking stated what the truth is about the matter, dog. Why are you continuing to go down this fucking line? You're not going to beat me with this line of reasoning. I already told you. You're not going to be able to out-argue me with this line of reasoning.
No, I can. I can.
Let's put the shit up to, like, say, for example, an artificial intelligence then, and let's see how it answers the question. You want to do that? How about we do that? Maybe that'll resolve the issue.
No, because I know for a fact, because all right,
you don't know for a fact, because there is no fact related to percentages of men and women.
All right, I know for a fact.
Name the study. Give me the study, bro.
Right,
give me the link. Provide the link in the chat.
I mean, I understand on both sides what you're saying,
bro. We know that most men are going to be able to beat the average man. I mean, most men are going to be able to beat up the average woman.
Yeah,
But
it's a
we
large.
already established the shit, nigga. Damn. What the fuck are you trying to prove? You saying a woman can't kill you, nigga? Or you saying that a woman can't kill you, dog?
No, there's probably like 20.
Because I know for a fact a woman can kill your ass right now, dog.
No.
All she gotta do is run up on you with the gun, hit you with a knife, nigga, you dead.
You're talking about
true or false? True or fucking false, bro? I want to true or false?
All right, you're speaking about a weapon that
true or false, bro?
You're speaking about a man.
True or false, nigga?
It's a bullet.
True or false, bro?
How does a gun work?
True or fucking false, bro?
How much PSI?
A 97-pound man can kill a fucking 315-pound man who can lift 1,000 pounds. True or false, dog?
How much PSI?
True or false, nigga?
How much PSI?
True or false, nigga? True or false, nigga?
Can a little kid?
Answer the fucking question.
Can a little kid shoot a gun?
Answer the goddamn question.
Can a little kid shoot a gun?
A little kid can shoot a gun and kill your ass. Can they not?
Yes, because
can a motherfucker take a knife and kill your ass?
It'll be harder. It will be harder.
Can a 3-year-old hit you and fucking black your what? Not a 13-year-old can hit you and black your eye.
Nah, that'd be kind of.
A 13-year-old person can't hit your ass and give you a black eye.
With a weapon or the hand?
With their fist.
Nah, that would be very difficult. It would be difficult. Very.
No 13-year-old in this world can hit you in your face and black your eye.
Now you are you?
I'm saying no. I said, is it possible for somebody who's 13 years old to punch you in your fucking eye and black it? You're saying no, it can't happen. If a 5-year-old pinches you, will it hurt you?
If a 5-year-old pinches,
if a 5-year-old comes up and pinches you,
that's a question.
Will it hurt you, bro?
What the fuck? So that's your question.
I'm saying, can a cat is significantly smaller than you are, correct?
Yeah, but a cat can't.
Can a cat hurt you, dog?
Yeah, it could scratch me.
It can scratch the shit out. Can a kid scratch you?
Yeah, if he has long enough nails.
If they got long nails, they can create physical harm for you, correct?
I mean, it's a scratch. I mean, it's not.
Okay, so it's a scratch, but it's still some pain, correct? Have you ever been scratched and the shit was painful?
A little bit. No, it's not a
little bit. Okay, so
I forgot about it like 2 days later.
But it hurt at the time, correct?
It was annoying. Now I wouldn't say painful. It was annoying.
The point I'm trying to demonstrate to you is this, man. If somebody is punched, can a 13-year-old bust your fucking nose and break it?
A 13-year-old? No.
A 15-year-old?
No.
A 15-year-old can't break your man, come on, nigga, stop the bullshit.
No, what am I just
the fucking cap, bro?
What am I just
Maybe
saying?
If you're aware that the motherfucker coming to you with a punch, you might be, but you can't get sucker punched and the motherfucker bust your nose, dude.
A 15-year-old. No, he has to be a very strong 15-year-old.
Bruh, there's some strong 15-year-olds out here, ain't it?
Okay, but this is the thing, right?
This is the thing. Listen, you niggas think that women can't harm you. I'm saying that a woman can kill your ass, nigga. And I'm saying this, that on average, there's a lot of women killing men every fucking year, nigga. And they think that you niggas think you impervious to harm. You're not. You're a physical human being. You are mortal, dog. You can die.
All right.
But a woman can kill your ass. And it's a feature and a function. Thomas Hobbes said this shit a long time ago. A 97-pound weakling can kill the strongest man in the world through secret machination or with a fucking weapon. So this whole notion of, women are weaker, you should never hurt them. Fuck that shit. If one of them trying to hurt me, fuck that. And if you trying to stand up for that shit, nigga, fuck you.
No, women.
That's how I feel about it. I don't give a fuck what you say. I think about
it. Now I see, dude.
Now you see what? I'm telling you, I don't think anybody should be harming anybody. But if you think, you're coming in your show and you saying, I'm telling you what the fuck I'm saying, whether you like the shit or fucking not, my guy. I'm telling you where it's at.
You're gonna need a cough drop in the morning, man.
No, nigga, I don't need no cough drop. I need to actually reject your ass and get you on up out of here. Because you keep trying to argue some shit that basically you won't answer my questions, but you want me to answer yours. And it's my fucking show, is it not? Whose fucking show you on? Whose show are you on?
I'm on my show.
You on my show, nigga. You on my show, nigga. I'm gonna tell you. I'm gonna tell you. You wanna know how I know it's my show? Cause you can get removed just that easy. If it was your show, you would be able to remove me, right? So remove me from the show. Remove me from the show, nigga.
Shit went left fucking fast.
No, I took him out. I'm the one in control. I can bring him back like God. I can bring him in and out this motherfucker. You can be removed again. I can bring you in and out at will. I can go back and forth, oscillating between bringing you in and out. So therefore, I know for a fact this is my show.
Were you bullied as a kid?
Nigga, I know it's the case.
Also,
it's not your show. This is motherfucker, you on my shit.
Women bullied you.
You on my motherfucking channel, are you not?
I'm on YouTube.
You on my channel on YouTube, are you not? I can kick you from the channel, can I not? Or you under the illusion that you had the ability to stay here on your own will and volition? Or you here because I'm entertaining you being here?
This is entertaining.
I'm entertaining you being here. I'm accommodating you being here. You don't have to be here.
No, I'm entertained.
Bro, man, look, at the end of the day, all I'm trying to explain to you is, man, I said it before, I'll say it again. Most men are stronger than most women, but there's an overlap in between how many men are stronger than women and vice versa. And some women can fucking beat the shit out of some men and vice versa. But it's going to be more men who are going to be able to beat women's asses than the other way around. But to say that it can't happen in reverse is some bullshit.
No. What I'm saying is that it's a very small number. That's my
bro, man. Stop the bullshit, bro. It's not a very small number of women who can hurt men. Stop saying that shit. That's bullshit. It's only a small amount of women who can hurt men. A woman, anybody can hurt anybody, bro. That's the point I'm trying to make, man.
Of course, with a weapon, yes. With a weapon, yes.
All I'm trying to articulate is the fact that anybody can hurt anybody. You can sucker punch a motherfucker and hurt them.
Yeah. I mean,
let me say something real quick, man.
Yeah. If I'm standing at the top of some stairs and anybody pushes me with enough strength, it's over. I could break my neck, whatever.
But let me say something real quick. Now I understand what both of you guys were saying, but if you guys sitting there thinking that women only inflict pain when it comes to physical violence, y'all got life fucked up. They can.
We already know that.
Yeah, women don't operate
in ways.
They don't go.
Their pain source. Their pain source in other methods is way worse than physical violence. Trust me.
Yeah, I agree.
Emotional pain and just destruction in general.
Men don't have emotions.
We do. What the fuck are you talking about?
Not according to whole you manly men out there. Niggas just don't have emotions.
Everyone has emotions, man.
Man, shit.
So
when it comes
I already know we got emotions.
I know. You're being sarcastic to prove a point. I know.
At the end of the day, all I'm trying to demonstrate to you is this. It's oftentimes said that men have the propensity or the capacity to cause harm, whereas women don't have the capacity to cause harm, either physically or emotionally or psychologically. That it's men primarily who are the ones enacting or, the source of or the cause of violence within the capacity of relationships and domestic life. And I'm saying that off the bat, that's some bullshit.
Yeah, if you're a surface level thinker, of course you're gonna think that way. But you're not. If you can think past a fucking brown paper fucking bag, you understand that women have so much, they have so many ways of inflicting pain other than physical shit. Like they can.
Look, but right now, look, I understand that. I get that as a point. I get it. I understand it. But this is what I want to demonstrate to you, okay? And I have to do this because it's not like I want to do this, but I feel like I'm obligated to do this shit, okay? So let me do it. Because the typical understanding is that you got a bunch of men who are assholes and, you know, like they want to exert power and control over women, so they beat the shit out of them and shit like this. This is what men are doing to exert power and control over women, okay? But at the end of the day, you see that? Can you see that? For some reason, I can't get this motherfucker to be any. Hold on.
But I mean.
Hold on. Wait a minute. There we go. Hold on. Damn, this went back to that bullshit. I don't want it on that. Okay, hold on. I know how to get rid of this shit. No, I don't. Hold on. Why can't I move it to another place? Okay, here we go. Yeah, for some reason it wants to stay in this double pane bullshit. But so anyway, let me make it bigger here. That's about as big as I can get. But ultimately what it says is, look, it's an abstract. 343 scholarly investigations, 270 empirical studies, and 73 reviews and or analysis would demonstrate that women are as physically aggressive or more aggressive than men in their relationships with their spouses or male partners. The aggregate sample size in the review studies exceeds over 440, 850 subjects. Okay? For some reason, I need some compatibility.
We know this shit.
So I mean, like, the point is guys out here acting as if, you know, like women are not aggressive. And when they are aggressive, they, you know, they cause little to no harm. And we already know that when motherfuckers are in domestic situations, who uses violence with weapons more? Is it men or women?
Women. I mean, but the thing about it is you got a bunch of like emasculated simps telling a damn story, and you have they like, once you're a goddamn simp, you've heard 1,000 sob stories for these battered women, which, you know, they're the ones that control the narrative. They're the ones, like, all women are getting battered, abused by all these men that are just so aggressive and abusive. That's the narrative.
This is the thing that fucks me up, right? Amber Heard was arrested for domestic violence against a woman, not a man, but against a woman. And then guess what she gets to be? An ambassador for violence against women. Now tell me how the fuck that works. How does that work? How does a woman who's been arrested for domestic violence get to now turn around and be an ambassador for violence against women? How? I don't understand it. I'm confused about it. Like, I don't get it. But that's the culture we live in. Okay? Not only that, take Megan Thee Stallion, for example. Another woman who's been arrested and convicted for domestic violence. She gets to turn around and become an ambassador for violence against women. How? She gets to, you know, have an audience with representatives in Congress and shit after laughing about having committed acts of violence and having conversations about how she was whipping niggas' asses and shit like this.
The box speaks louder than anything in America. If the box is speaking, which is the vagina, everybody listens. That's a problem. I mean, I don't know if it's a problem, but that's just what it is.
Hey, like, Faulkner, I left the link for you, man. I don't know if
who cares? I mean, who cares if men are complaining? But if a woman complains, then we're listening.
And look, I don't have a problem with women. You know, like my viewpoint on it is this, man. I've seen fights with women and men. I've seen fights where women, you know, got knives and shit. I've seen fights where women know how to throw their hands. It's some women that know how to throw their hands. It just is what it is. I've seen this shit. It ain't something I'm speculating about. I've seen it.
Ooh, what's up,
But
Green Gorilla?
what's up, Officer Faulkner? What's cracking with you? This officer of the goddamn law. What's cracking?
Oh yeah, man. I mean, I'll admit something. When I was a rookie officer back in 2007, 2008, I used to think and listen to the narratives of these men must be beating the hell out of these women. So you do a result and you actually do some research. 70% of all aggressors of domestic violence are women. The most violent relationships are lesbian relationships. You have more child abuse in a single woman home than in a single man or two-parent home.
Obviously, somebody hurt you. Like that's why you speaking like this. Somebody like who hurt you, boo? I'm being facetious, man.
But let me speak to the. Let me speak this. You make a good point, Officer Faulkner. But here's the deal, right? This is the thing that fucks me up. A lot of people have like this concept in their head that men are subjecting people who are like more vulnerable to violence. But who are the most vulnerable people in our culture?
Black men and black boys.
Even just on a base level without talking about demographics related to sex, I'm talking about age. Children are the most vulnerable.
Children are always
the most vulnerable. Now, this is what I will say. How many of y'all got black mamas that the first experience with violence you ever had in your life was at her hands?
Yeah.
There's a reason why we understand what the acronym is when they say, get your black ass, get your black ass in this, get your black ass in this motherfucking house. GYAITMFH RNBIBYA. Get your ass in this motherfucking house right now before I beat your ass. We already know what it is.
Yeah. Nah, I mean, I had a different experience. I grew up, I'm Haitian. I grew up, my daddy handled all that shit. Like, I was scared of my dad. I wasn't really scared of my mama. Or my mama would slap me up a couple times, but it was my dad. No, daddy whooped my ass.
But if you are, how old are you?
I'm 42.
You 42. So increasingly, the households are not like two-parent households anymore.
Right. No, I was really scared of my fucking dad.
So the primary discipline is not going to be coming from fathers anymore. It's going to be coming from their moms.
No, I know what you're talking about. I know the dynamic you're talking about. Hey, yeah, a lot of a lot of my friends and shit like that. They fucking mama used to like really bully them like that. You feel me?
So look, at the end of the day, most of the violence that motherfucking men are learning, they learn from their mamas.
That's a fact.
The imprint of violence initially is not coming from some sort of patriarchal source. It's coming from niggas' own mamas.
Yeah, I mean, if you look at the violence, it's coming from a female disposition. Like, dudes are getting murked for saying shit online. That's fucking woman shit.
Let's look at this, man. You got women who are getting their boyfriends to fight their child's father. You're getting women to go get their sons to go murder guys. But these are the softer sex. I'm sorry, but I haven't seen anything soft about them. And it's funny because you got people like Cardi B who cavalierly speak on drugging and robbing men and having transgenders do things to those men. But yet she gets to speak to the future president of the United States.
Well, my only issue is there is a double standard. And so, like, my whole thing is this. The reason I talked about deontology initially when it came to, because I'm going to do a whole show about this. And, I don't feel like having, like, another hour dedicated to this topic, but suffice it to say, there are a whole cadre of women who believe that, you know, it's okay for them to hit men and to do whatever the fuck they want to do because it's just an irritant. That's it. There is no real harm there. It's just an irritant. It's like a little scratch, like the guy was saying. It's like a love tap. But I just tried to show, the only reason I used the example of that woman fucking lifting 600 pounds is because there's some women out here who will whip a nigga's ass. Don't you train women, Officer Faulkner, to whip motherfuckers' ass?
Say that again?
Don't you train women to whip motherfuckers' men's asses? Don't you train them to do that?
I don't know about men's asses, but to hold their own to help men get there.
But you know what I'm saying. I mean, the whole point is you train them the best. You train them in techniques to subdue and to
I've trained them to hold it, to apprehend, you know. But you know, we gotta look at this factor, right? A lot of this stuff that happens with women in violence is mostly because men allow it. If men were of a different culture or a different mindset, women wouldn't react the same way to it. So what we have here is the fact that a lot of men are raised to have deference. It's one thing to be a gentleman, but it's another thing to bully men because you know you could get away with it.
Well, you know, like, again, like you said, man, it's men that allow for it. Like, men didn't used to allow for this shit. Like, I mean, like, this is a new phenomenon. And it's all predicated upon shame and shit like that. Men are allowing themselves to be subjected to shame. Bottom line. They're allowing themselves to be subjected to abuse with no response. Who, like I said this a long time ago, man. The only motherfuckers who can assault you without any, you know, expectation that there won't be any counter assault is your parents or a fucking slave master. Who else can assault you without the expectation that there will be no response? In nature. Fuck society, just nature.
I mean, usually in nature, you know, animals are going to strike back. I mean, it's very rare because we've gotten to a point where we looked at women like they're this endangered fair sex when we forget the story of Cleopatra, how she was playing Julius Caesar and Mark Antony. So we forget the dangers of women. I mean, Samson, the strongest motherfucker alive, was taken down by a woman. No army, just one woman. But we forget all these ancient texts and stories that tell men and warn men about the deceitful nature that women can produce, and we fail to heed the warning.
Yeah.
You know, I don't know that much, but I know that much.
Yeah, so, you know, at the end of the day, the only reason I did this show was, you know, like, look, it's a bunch of guys in the black, you know, pro-black community, you know, who are basically calling black men in the manosphere a bunch of pussies and shit. Really, to me, that's what it is. And I'm like, bro, come on, man. Like, you is that what you really think, bro? You can't be serious. You know what I'm saying? Like, I mean, I guess some guys here might be incels and, like, they don't have children or never had relationships and shit like that, or involuntarily celibate or whatever. But is that like the vast majority of guys in the space? I don't perceive it that way. There's a lot of men here who are married. It's men here who are fathers. Any of y'all fathers?
Of course,
you a father, ain't you, Faulkner?
Yeah.
You a father, triple black? I'm a father. I got two baby mamas. I know I've been part of the pro-black community. Like, it ain't like I'm, you know, brand new to it, but I'm saying, come on, man. Like, look, That Kufi ain't gonna save you, bro. If you on some bullshit, that shit can get knocked off your head too. That's all I'm trying to say, man. Stop being disrespectful. And critiquing women, that's not all we critique here, though. Because there's a lot of guys here who critique other, people other than just women. Or am I lost on this?
I thought straight men always talk about women at some point. I mean, whether if it's good, bad, happy, or sad, I mean, critique is critique. There's times I've been on panels for 4 hours and we didn't even talk about women once. We do have interest in love.
For better or worse, you got guys in this space talking about Pookie and Ray Ray. Being critical of Pookie and all this kind of shit, which, by the way, I would assert, just based on statistics, are more dangerous than the average pro-black radical, right? Or am I confused about this?
Pretty much, but here's the fact of the matter of Pookie and Ray Ray. There's a lot of brothers from the hood. Like one of the guys who I'm in class with for Colorado. I'm coming back home Saturday, thank God. He was a street dude in New York. He has an MBA. See, I think a lot of people look at the outside appearance instead of getting to know the inner workings of the individual. But we with a race that don't want people to judge us, but we do the most judging. I'm gonna shut up, I'm gonna shut the fuck up.
It's all good, man. You good, bro. Look, the only reason I did the show was to demonstrate that, look, man, there's a time and a place for everything. And we live in a white supremacist nation. We live in a white supremacist world, to be quite honest, by, being so thoroughly immersed in the nation that we live in. And so, we don't control shit. And we like to blame each other a lot. And I get it, we need to turn outward, talk about white supremacy and all this kind of shit and the various ways in which it's exercised and all this kind of shit. But, my whole thing is, when it comes to the impact and the effects of white supremacy, we like to focus on what men aren't doing and just totally ignore what women aren't doing. Or we like to focus on what men are doing that's pathological and ignore or gloss over what women are doing that's pathological. And I'm saying, how are we going to move forward if we can't talk about black women cooning, but we got to constantly talk about black men cooning? I don't see it. I just don't get it. If it's wartime and you got people on your team doing some cooning, then you got to identify what they doing. Male or female, straight or gay.
I think GG, we need to define live stream of coon. What is cooning, and the true definition. Having a critique of your people openly is not cooning.
I don't think so either. I don't think so either. But what I do think is coon. This is what I think cooning is. Betraying your own race by aligning yourself with oppressive forces or adopting stereotypical behavior that makes yourself ingratiating to white folks or whoever else is in charge. That's cooning to me. It's like simping. It's like simping. It's pandering.
Yeah.
For acceptance.
It's a difference between being a gentleman and being a coon and being a simp. There's a difference between having an open critique or a statement than being a coon. Are you for the betterment of your people without embarrassing yourself or your people?
And that's why I say it's cool to, I'll go off on some, some thug dudes if they on some bullshit. I'll tell them, man, that's some bullshit you on. I'll say I go off on the black manosphere on the regular. I'll say it sounds like y'all on some goofy shit or some coon shit. I'll say it. I do internal criticism in the black manosphere. But the point is, you got a lot of guys who don't want you to say shit about women. And I don't think the black manosphere will say some shit that's critical of women.
Yeah. And it's funny. I have a best friend. We get back into it about, well, the stuff you say about women. I say, but at the same time, you had to agree with me when your own sister and your own fiance did some stuff that you didn't like, and that you even noticed that it's something that's cultural. There's a cultural issue nobody wants to talk about, and fundamentally, it stifles the growth of a community.
So and then this is one thing I want to address, and then I'm gonna close this shit out, right? Says you got to identify who's your people and who's not your people, because all skin folk aren't your kinfolk. And I just put it, I liken it to this kind of situation, right? It's a lot of niggas. And, you know, I use the term nigga as a term of endearment quite often, but like black people are niggified. And it's overcoming the psychological impact of the world we live in. That's the most difficult thing to do. Because this world will teach you to hate yourself. And so that's what makes or differentiates black people from niggas. The nigga is an ingratiator, or as a lost person who's never taken time to reflect on any of these issues. The black person is the person who has some sort of consciousness. And they may not have all of the pieces of the puzzles put together, but at least they're thinking and reflecting on it. The nigga is just living a wanton life as the system would have him live it. No reflection, just reactions. No planning, just haphazard responses. Haven't worked out like, you know, the issues related to double consciousness at all. This world will have you all fucked up, man, and hating your own people. But then we don't really identify ourselves as a people anymore, especially after the civil rights movement. Prior to the civil rights movement, black people knew that they had a linked fate. Today, black people don't feel like they have a linked fate. They feel like, a lot of black people feel like it's about class. Oh, I'm of a higher class. Or I'm better than, you know, you lowly niggers or whatever. You know, you dust bunnies, or you thugs, you bitches, whatever the case may be. But at the end of the day, man, like this system is fucked up, and it's fucked up for men and for women. They don't get a pass because they got vaginas. They are required to resist as well. They're not required to just, oh, well, you know, I can bask in, you know, my femininity and just, you know, I'm gonna go wherever the wind blows. No. Imagine if America was at war and all of the women in America were like, well, you know, it doesn't matter who wins. We're just gonna fuck whoever wins. Who gets to act like that?
Didn't France do that in World War II?
Man, that's some bullshit. Them hoes, they ain't about shit if that's how they acted. I know the Vietnamese didn't act that way. Not them women.
Oh no, the Vietnamese women, they carried guns too. They were shooting, they were busting caps too. Wherever their men did, they went.
I know the Haitian women wasn't like that.
They were carrying machetes too.
I know in Jamaica they wasn't like that. I know Harriet Tubman wasn't like that. Harriet Tubman to shoot a nigga. You think she wouldn't shoot a nigga who was on some coon shit? Or was gonna compromise the group? If they trying to escape?
If she thought she was gonna compromise, she'll put a bullet in your head.
She'll fuck you, she'll murk you. And justifiably so.
And I don't have a problem with that.
And she's a woman. I don't have a problem with it. I think, hey, look. I think she's
I think the women, but the women have been indoctrinated thinking against that type of line of thinking. They think that if you are helping, like a black, like let's just say a black man in general, that somehow that you're deficient or you're compromised or something negative. That's just their natural default now.
I'm gonna say this because it's gonna piggyback what you just said. I was talking to a young lady on the phone. She's saying that she would rather have a compromise in a relationship, and I said, "Nah, I like cooperation. Why don't we just work together? That makes more sense." Oh, cooperation? That sounds like some slave shit to me. I was like, "You have a good day." Nah.
I was listening to a stream earlier, like on my lunch break and shit, and the one woman said that if you go 50-50 with a man, is worse than just being by yourself. I mean, it's better than, I mean, like being by yourself is better. Like, which didn't, I mean, I was trying to wrap my head around it. I was like, if you are paying half the bills with a man, somehow that is worse than paying all the bills by yourself.
Which is it's absolutely fucking ridiculous.
I mean, no, she was actually, she like in the sisterhood got behind her and they were saying, "Yeah, sis, you're right." You know, I think this conversation derived from Gabrielle Union because there's a lot of women that were like triggered by the fact that I guess she's volunteering to pay 50-50.
No, she's being voluntold to pay 50-50.
Huh?
She's being voluntold to pay 50-50.
Right.
Because first and foremost, she didn't have to marry that man, but she knew that when the last time you seen a Gabrielle Union movie, what blockbuster movie did she ever go to?
I mean, but that's besides the point. They rather if they have to pay anything, they rather be alone to pay all of it, which makes no sense.
Well, here's the thinking, right? Like, so look, this is my view on this shit, right? All of this shit is predicated upon like a Western model of like what a man is and what a man is supposed to earn and all this kind of shit in the market. So the market becomes a replacement for nature. Like, okay, so like the idea is that men typically are the ones to go out and to hunt and then bring the catch back and bring it to where the family can eat it and shit like this, right? Where else is it coming from? Okay, so that's the provision, right? And the protection is, you know, like if somebody tries to invade the house, you're there to shoot, I guess, or whatever the case may be, right? Or if it's in medieval times, prior to the the creation of or the invention of the gun, you use a sword or something like that to protect your family, right?
But masculinity has no value in Western society, supposedly. Like there's no like intrinsic value. Like there's no intrinsic value for masculinity at all.
But there's, let me just say this. This is my problem. There's nothing but the idealization and the lionization of masculinity. That's all there is. That's the problem. The problem the problem is that there is nothing other than the romanticization and the coveting of masculinity and what men can do. That's the problem. There's no value in anything else.
No, it's pretty much jealousy. It's penis envy.
So this is why I say, like, look, now you got women who are basically just acting like men, acting like dudes. And that's supposed to be the solution. The solution is, I am just like a dude. And that's the solution to the inequity, the inequality, or, it creates, like a means by which to eliminate the injustices. So all we need is for women to start acting like dudes. Now, as far as I'm concerned, look, all I can tell you is women ask for equity in the market. They ask for equity in politics. You ask for 50-50. Like if it's the case that men have to compete with you for jobs and that the competition is not based on anything physical at all, then you've taken the masculinity out of the equation. The market doesn't reward masculinity. It can't be a feature and a function and an indication of your masculinity anymore. How can it be? So the whole concept of men earning money is obliterated when you introduce in a whole scale fashion women into the market such that they're competing with men for jobs. At that point, you've handicapped men now in the market to be able to do what you want them to be able to do for you. And the reason I say this, I've already explained this shit. There's a limited number of jobs. We don't live in a country with full employment. Now, there might have been a time when full employment was a thing. Nowadays is not the time. Okay? Also, you live in an era in which there are policies of diversity and inclusion which give preferential hiring treatment to, historically marginalized demographics, right? So to speak. Now we know the white women get the lion's share of those jobs. We know what the fuck this is about. And we know that black women are able to dovetail white women, not to the same extent, but they get some sort of benefit from being a woman with the kind of diversity and inclusion policies that are, in existence in this country. Now you're demanding, because there's a limited amount of jobs and openings in professional schools and shit like this, how are men going to compete with the shit? You can't even, you have created the conditions where men can't even give you what the fuck you want.
But this is a first world problem, because the first world problem, you have a first world infrastructure that's built up to where you can put any face on anything. Like, for instance, like the electrical grid, you can put a face of a woman on there, and all women be thinking, oh yeah, because they have a woman CEO, all women are running it, which is not true. When you have a storm or some shit like that and lights go out, who's out there actually fixing the shit? It's men. You feel me? So we built this shit. Like, shout out to I don't know if how you guys feel about Kevin Samuels, but he talked about something that was very relevant at the time.
Kevin's our boy.
Yeah. They built the infrastructure that is so strong to where you can put any face on it. You can put any face on it, and you can give credit to that person. Like, you can have, like, Amazon tomorrow can hire a woman CEO, and their stock price is going to go through the roof, right? And you're going to have a whole bunch of women dancing, in the street, saying that, it's rise because of a woman, but the woman cannot be behind the whole infrastructure. Like, I work for a bank. I'm not going to say what bank. We hired a CEO during a time, and she was a black woman, blah, blah, blah. And we were having, we had unprecedentedly, profits and just growth and everything. She got credit, and they put her as a face of it. So all women felt like, hey, yeah. But it was, in the front lines, it wasn't really the woman that was running the shit. It was the fucking dudes. So, you're stuck in that conundrum. There's nothing you can do about it. It is what it is.
Yeah, so this is my view on this shit, right? I think that, shout out to Be Conscious Black Honey. She shouted me out and she became a member, not a member, but she subbed to the channel. And she basically says, and I do believe this to a certain extent, women want to take on the identity of men and kick men to the curb. But here's the point. And I think, I think both of you will confirm this to a large degree. Like, most of the work that keeps this shit going, society going, is the unseen work of people like the bus drivers that Ebony Williams don't want to fuck with anymore. You know what I'm saying? Like, I mean, you know, like, because not everybody has this middle class aspirationalism. That's never really actually been black politics, but now that's what it is. You know, like I want a high earning man so I could be a persnickety ass white motherfucker, instead of, you know, fighting for justice to where the pool is expanded such that more people have access to the things that they need and have a less of a burden psychologically in terms of paying the bills and shit. You know, like a country where there's less stress related to, you know, just upkeep and maintenance of a household. But instead of that, what you have is, you know, a bunch of motherfuckers jockeying to be that motherfucker. You know, like, or to demonstrate that, like, I'm better than this nigga, or I'm better than that person.
To summarize what you're saying, there's a lot of people who don't know how to play number 2 or number 3.
But it's my view on it is this: a relationship has, like, even if you go back to ancient times, hunter gatherers and shit, women had to do, like, they had work that had to be done. It wasn't just like men going out and providing shit. Like, we come from Africa, right? Most of us, right? We're descendants of Africa. Like, in African culture, women are out there in the market working. Like, I mean, prior to, like, the advent of all of this, you know, European colonization and shit like that, women had a role to play in the natural economy of any tribe. Some of them motherfuckers had to go get water. It's your job to go get the water, motherfucker. You know what I'm saying? Like, it ain't like they just were able to just sit around the house and they do nothing. And if a motherfucker was to invade, what you gonna do? Just, like, open your legs while the fucking fighting is taking place? You're gonna have to pick up a spear as well. Yeah. Now, you might not be as strong as me, but you're gonna have to do something unless you want to get mauled.
No, I mean, but they've had to use their female instincts in order to win wars and shit. They've had to use the shit.
See, the craziest part about it is what Gigi just alluded to, and just not even just alluded, but just stated. Men never look down upon the accomplishments of women. We didn't expect you to lift as much or go hunt the biggest damn animal to bring back to the tribe. But you took care of the kids, you gathered the berries, you gathered with the vegetables, you tend to stuff that had needed to be on the home plate. But because you think that all the glory is going to men, you get this jealousy. But at the same time, you want the authority and power of men, but you don't want the accountability, the responsibility, and the shots men have to take day to day.
Well, let me just say this. Let me just say this shit. You see this shit right here? That is a group of women who are like, fuck this shit, we ride or die for the shit we own. We riding or dying for whiteness. Am I wrong? What else is it saying?
I mean, you can't put it any better than that. I mean,
they riding or dying. They not equivocating, switching up, or changing. They like to the death, motherfucker. We riding with some white shit. Same thing here with these women screaming and all this shit like a motherfucker's trying to desegregate. They like, we on some white shit. Yeah. Same with they training the little babies. They ain't waiting for a motherfucker to make up their mind themselves on what they gonna do and how they gonna be indoctrinated into being down with some whiteness. See, they training their future babies to be on some white shit. Now, I'm not saying this is, everywhere, but look, they are training their children, at least were, on some white shit. The lynchings wasn't just a group of men lynching some motherfuckers. The women were at that motherfucker too, participating in the whole ordeal related to we on some this is us type shit. I don't just see pictures of guys by themselves, man. I see women with them. Now you can call it political, or this is some political shit. This is their politics. They are not isolated from it. Oh, well, you guys go out there and do all the work associated with the politics. We'll just sit at home. Them motherfuckers are in the streets riding for their political advantage, or what they consider to be in their political interest. They out there. They ain't chilling like, oh, well, we're going to let you do the work.
They're ready to pick up that goddamn rock themselves.
They putting work in. They like, this is the work we doing. This is some work. This is what we doing, some work. This we letting you know. And this is to a group of people who lost the war. They men lost the war.
You know, you make a good point.
The South lost the fucking Civil War. Them bitches put on some robes and said, we ain't done yet. Hey, we're not done yet, Cletus.
You know what? You make a good point, because one, black women don't even know their men won the Civil War, but niggas ain't do shit.
I said that a long time ago, bro.
We won.
Like, where are our statues? Where are our statues edifying? And I mean, not to say that there are none, because there are some, but you don't see them everywhere. Especially in the black community, there are no rituals, no shrines.
Not even a parade.
MLK, you got a lot of MLK Street and shit. But they got white people put up statues in symbolic reverence for the people they respect and people that hold the politics that they want to see projected into the future.
But
what do we do?
Where's our statues? Where's our parades? We won wars for this country. Hell, we won wars for our freedom. We're like the Rodney Dangerfield of men. We get no respect.
That's why, look, I know I'm ignorant, man. I speak, look, I love us, man. I want to see us win. But to argue that the only way we can win is if the men step up and the women don't have to step up, they could just be on some neoliberal, coon, fugazi bullshit like the Real Housewives and shit. That's cool for them, they deserve the finer things in life, while we just, we just need to put on berets and shit. Like every movement for progress, racial progress in the United States was a concerted effort with men and women working in conjunction with each other, man. It wasn't just the men did this and the women, kind of just sat on their laurels and waited to see if we were actually going to be manly. And shit, it didn't work that way. But now everybody has this expectation that that's how it's going to pan out. That's not how the shit is done. That's not how culture moves forward and how war is waged. It doesn't work that way. It don't work that way. And then to ask women to not be a part of the struggle, to sit back in the bass, that's infantilization shit. I'm not for infantilizing women.
Can you really do a marketing strategy for your struggle, like for black men's struggle? Let me finish real quick. I mean, can we market the black man's struggle at all?
It's been marketed at various times and with various levels of success, but then but you got to understand.
But it's been derailed every single time.
Not every single time, but I get the point, though. I get your point. But here's the point. Like, say for example, you had the one sister, man, from Ohio State, I think, Michelle Alexander. She wrote the book, The New Jim Crow. I would say that was a net plus for black men. I would say that's a black male movement detailing the way the justice system works in an adverse way, primarily to black men, or how it subjects black men to, retributive injustice.
But you know what? I'm going to give you a little pushback. I mean, you're almost assuming that we're the leaders of the community, which black women have not really actually They've not submitted to that. So how the hell can we be the face of anything when our women don't believe the shit?
Well, most Negroes don't believe shit. Like most black folks ain't part of the black struggle. That's the point. That's the point. Like, you think most black people was out there marching during the civil rights? No, it was a minority of people out there doing that shit. Vast majority of blacks was chilling. Wasn't out there motherfucking marching and getting subjected to hosing and dogs being sicked on them and shit like that. Most blacks was just trying to live. You know what I'm saying? Like, I mean, you know, it is what it is. So, like, not everybody was, like, engaged in slave rebellion. You know what I'm saying? It is what it is. So, you know, like, I mean, everybody ain't gonna do the heavy lifting. But here's the thing. I just don't like it when you got a group of black men trying to hold other black men responsible, and then they just, you know, infantilize women and don't want to hold them accountable or responsible at all. That's not the history of black progress and struggle at all. And you've always had black men, like Franz Fanon, David Walker, just to name two, who've been critical of women when they were on some self-serving, servile deceit sort of shit. Let them know, like, this is not how you appropriately respond to, you know, racial domination. It's not the inappropriate response. And there always been men, you know, to, you know, make those kind of statements. So now Franz Fanon is what, a misogynist? Well, so David Walker's a misogynist because he was bringing attention to the actions of some women that did some shit that was fucked up. But it's not, in no way, shape, form, or fashion is it anti-black to talk about black men and their pathology and the shit that they create in terms of harm inside of the black community. It's cool to talk about that. But it's not in any way, shape, form, or fashion okay to do some sort of assessment about the shit that black women do in the black community, because if black men actually were doing what they were supposed to be doing, then they wouldn't be doing shit wrong at all. That's not social. That's not social scientific analysis. That is some bullshit. So, you know, I ain't gonna spend too much time doing this, man. Like, I'm almost 4 hours in. I'm tired. I'm hungry.
Yeah, but okay, let me ask you the last question. I mean, what, I guess, archetype of men that most black women or black people in general champion?
Say what now?
What archetype of man that most black people collectively in the black community champion?
I guess you're gonna say the thug, right? Like, everybody champions the Pookie.
Not the Pookie, but I mean the archetype.
The archetype is the strong black motherfucker. Like, because you got athletes who are treated like the archetype as well.
Right.
You can't just like a lot of black men in this space like to pick and choose who they perceive to be, who women perceive as select. But like,
women are choosing. That's what I'm saying. Women are choosing the archetype. That's a fucking problem. They are choosing the archetype of fucking dude. That's a fucking huge problem. You said this shit. They're choosing. They're telling us who the fuck is the archetype. Who do we want? And you know, women do not necessarily make the best decision when it comes to choosing men. They just don't, especially in the Western world.
Well, I mean, the same can be said of men, though. I mean, you know, the same can be said of men, bro. Like, you know.
I mean, when it comes to building the family infrastructure and shit like that, they are horrible at choosing. They're horrible.
Yeah. You know, well, if I'm gonna tell you why they're horrible at choosing, because what they've been told is that, you know, you can have it all. You know, like you can have a cute, fun sexual encounter and have a good job and education. Like, this is the way Cosmopolitan, basically train women to be, man. Like it's like, like it's a female
like
version
children.
It's the
To be like
female
children,
version
man.
of Playboy, man.
Yeah, to be like children. Children are taught, you can eat candy and play video games all day long.
But I
That's
mean,
what women think.
men and women are attracted to who they're attracted to. Like I've seen weird couplings and shit like this. Like I think there's a lot of over simplification of who women are choosing and shit like that by the black manosphere.
But
like
what I'm saying, I mean, that was my whole point. If you give them full autonomy on the selection process, they're going to choose the most degenerate fucking dudes. That's just how they are wired. It's a fucking red pill truth. They are wired that way. And when they get 40, that's when things change. If you give them full autonomy, which I know in the Western world is like, you shouldn't say that shit. If you give them full autonomy to do what they want to do, they are going to fucking choose degenerate shit. It's wired.
I say, but I say men will do the same shit. Like, look, let me
Nah,
just say,
I mean, after you hit 30,
I think so.
Nah, I don't. No, hell no. I think after.
How many men are choosing hoes out here?
No,
how many men are choosing hoes out here, bro? Let's keep it a buck.
Bro, I think after a certain period of time, when you run through so many hoes and shit like that, you do not want to choose. When it comes to the building part of it, you do not want to choose the degenerate hoe. You don't want to do it. Like, you just don't want to do it. No, I'm just saying. I mean,
but how long does it take for a motherfucker to learn that lesson, though? You know what I'm saying?
If you've been like, okay, you might have your fun until you get like 25, 30, you know what I'm saying? But after 30 or so, nah, you're not. Your default is not to choose the unruly fucking Jezebel, been around the fucking block and all this type of shit. No, you ain't doing that shit. It's just not. I mean, that's just my experience. You ain't doing that shit. You ain't doing it. You ain't fucking doing it. If a woman can be the it girl until she's 50, 90% of them will. That just.
Well, hey man, look, I don't know. I have to do some more research on that. But having said all that, man, look.
All right, man.
Look. I think that Francis Cress Welsing and them had this shit right, man. I think that today, I think it both men and women have to take responsibility for this. I think that in a culture that is based upon negative liberty and hedonism is the paramount value that everybody's chasing. I think it's a recipe for disaster. You got to look at like cultures that aren't Western, or Western culture prior to, its extolization, its extolling of the concept of negative liberty to a fault. People used to put restrictions on like sexual behavior and shit. It wasn't like, and marriage was not just something predicated upon romantic love and the desire of individuals. It wasn't just a subjective enterprise. It was the connection between two families. You know what I'm saying? Like, in order to facilitate, a net gain for both parties and families and shit like that. I mean, it wasn't just, we're marrying because, I love you. And a lot of marriages were arranged. You know what I'm saying? So
that's what I'm saying is when you, everything absent of that, I mean, when you give females full autonomy, this is what happens. This is what you get. It is what it is. Yeah, it's not. I mean, I'm not saying it's necessarily a bad thing, but I mean, this is a red pill truth. Like, people like walk against the red pill. I mean, like, whatever you allow. I mean, like, somebody told me, whatever you allow a woman to do, she's going to do it. If you tell her, hey, you know what? Don't jump off a bridge. Don't jump off a bridge. And then you say, you know what? I don't care if you jump off a bridge. Go ahead and jump off a bridge.
Yeah,
What's she gonna do?
I don't believe that, bro. That's
She
too
gonna jump
taking it
off a
too
bridge.
far. Yeah, you
She's
taking it too far.
She's going to jump off that fucking
I
bridge.
don't think women are that damn dumb, man. You know?
I mean,
No,
it's
I
not
don't. I
even
don't.
dumb.
I don't think women are. You know, I think men are equally as dumb as women are in some instances, though. So let me having said all that, bro.
Right.
I'm almost at the 4-hour mark, bro.
No doubt,
I'm tired. Bro. I need to eat, man. I haven't eaten since 3 o'clock, bro.
All right, bro.
You know what I'm saying?
All right,
I understand that, you know, you guys, look, I get, you know, the urge, I get you guys got the urge to, you know, kind of be critical of women. Like, I don't like to essentialize anybody. That's just my I don't like essentialization. That's just me. So, having said all that, man, look, I know some of the things I say might sound alarming to some people, man. Look, I want to see us actually grow as a community. Like, if you pro-black, I want motherfuckers to grow. And the only way you can actually grow is through critique and conversation and even debate and, you know, sometimes, you know, having contentious arguments, exchange back and forth. I mean, you need that. And, you know, like both men and women need to be held accountable for the shit they do, man. Not just men. Women as well. So, you know, that's how I look at it. So, anyway, man, y'all be good, man. I'll holler at y'all on the next one, man. I don't know when I'm coming back. I know I ain't gonna be too long from doing another show, but damn, man. I can't be... These 4-hour joints, man, they be working me, bro. So I'll holler at y'all on the next one, man. Till the next time. Be good.